Hello, everyone.
Welcome back, Caleb.
We're glad you're here, Caleb.
I'm here.
We also have a guest tonight. It's our cousin Ethan.
What's up?
Old Spiefy.
So we've been talking a little bit about postmodernism.
Like,
Jason.
Okay.
Throw you under the bus real quick, see what you can do.
I don't like it.
I mean, I think it's, the savior of the world, really.
It's just, yeah.
It's the best thing that's ever happened to society.
No.
Well, hey, none of us have ever went to college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our guest has.
Degree,
What's the
so.
postmodernism like on the campus?
What college do you go to?
Memphis. University of Memphis.
Okay.
Memphis State.
Do what?
Memphis State.
Yeah, Memphis State, as the old people would call it.
There you go.
What's it like, man? Like being on a college campus and dealing with just that environment.
Honestly, though, it's a lot better than the stuff you see on, all the videos and
Right.
all that shit. With at least in Memphis, it's not near as progressive and stuff like that as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, talking about all of the postmodernism and stuff like that, and y'all want to touch on natural law. One of the professors I have, we were going over ethics and stuff like that, and he's African American, so I was thinking, he'd be more on the progressive side.
Right.
But and like he was breaking down ethics and stuff like that, and how we there's two separate basically ethical groups in America, and there's really no way we could ever get to an agreement because of if your ethics and morals are different, you could fight for 100 years over the same conversation, and you'd never move forward. And that's basically what's going on in the country right now. But back to the Memphis thing, it's not near as bad as most colleges you see, Berkeley and all that stuff.
Right.
It's way worse than Memphis is. I would already have dropped out of college if it was anything like that.
Right. Yep.
Well, what are you studying, though? Are you studying, probably not liberal arts?
No, hell no.
Like, you're not in that?
I'd kill that is actually probably pretty bad, but
Yeah.
I'm in finance, so the class I'm talking about, though, is it's like legal, ethical, something environment or something like that. So we're just kind of breaking it down in a business standpoint of how the country's ran and how that stuff is.
Is there, a undertone of hating capitalism there?
Not in my class, at least. This
Yeah.
guy loves it. I mean, he preaches it basically. But I could see in those, if I was doing liberal arts or anything like that, it would obviously be terrible. I would think. I haven't taken any psychology classes or sociology classes.
You don't take gender studies or...
God, dude.
Women
Actually,
101?
It's funny. My buddy said he signed up late for classes, and he's in an LGBTQ literary heritage. So they're reading, all the people in there have purple hair and are just like he said literally everyone's hair is dyed but his. And they're just reading gay poetry and stuff like that. It's like, what?
I really don't understand. I don't know. I really don't get what makes poetry gay. I mean, other than a gay person wrote it, but would you even know unless you knew who wrote it?
Exactly. No, that and I was mind blown. There's no fucking way you're in an LGBTQ literary heritage class.
I mean, it seems like if that community wanted equality and to be seen as equals and all that they should just be teaching those authors in normal classes instead of having their own separate class.
Yeah.
Of, these are the gay authors you should read. Why aren't they just authors?
Exactly, and I was just mind blown that there's a class for LGBTQ people. I'm like, what? Do you have? Is there an all white or an all black course as well? What? I don't know. That was dumb.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean that's a mindset of racism. That's the same mindset.
Yeah.
That's
like the
segregation.
Yeah,
right.
segregating.
Way, yeah.
Right. They're wanting. I mean, you see stuff on the news where they're like, no, we don't want any white people in this gathering, and these people are trying to stand with you and agree with you about stuff, and you're like, no, we don't want that. It's just self-segregation, and it's so freaking weird.
It is weird. It's very backwards.
But yeah, back to it. I haven't personally seen anything like that. And,
Super crazy.
Yeah, not in the financial courses at least.
Right. Do you feel like you're getting your money's worth?
Hell no. Like no one's getting their money's worth unless you're going to be a doctor or a nurse or something like. You're not getting your money's worth.
Yeah. I think Memphis has like a pretty prominent like law school.
Yeah, they've got a good business and law school for sure, but no, you're not getting your money's worth.
Let me ask this question.
Getting my funds worth.
This is probably something that's a completely different topic. Do you ever see any of the semi-famous like college athletes? Do they even show up at the campus?
Are you talking about the ones that play for Memphis?
Yes. I figured.
Honestly, I did see James Wiseman he was projected to go number 1 in the draft for a while.
Yeah, but he quit. Yeah,
because he's a loser. But he was on campus a lot. Actually, a lot of people would see him. But yeah, no, you don't really. I have a couple football players in my class. I saw them the first day, but that's it.
Yeah,
the football players aren't stars.
Yeah, well,
they're not even really athletes.
They've been a lot better the last few years.
No, we've actually been dominating. But I know a guy that is on the baseball team, and you wouldn't believe the benefits they get. I don't know if I can even say this, but like they sign up basically as disabled people, so they get people to take their notes and go to class for them and stuff like that. So like, it's for sure corrupt in a sense.
I mean,
that's weird.
That's a perk of being an athlete.
Well, what you said about James Wiseman, like if you know you're going in the draft, those dudes don't go to class. I know that about basketball player because you can't become academically ineligible until your second year, and if you're like him or that Precious Achua guy, like you're gone, like you're not going to be there.
They're going to be gone.
So if you never walk into a class, it doesn't matter, because I think after the first semester they put you on academic probation, and then at the end of the second semester, but those dudes, they're gone.
Yeah, they're leaving anyways. They're already to the draft. I did see James Wiseman a lot, but he wasn't in class. He was just in the UC getting food. So that's the only time I ever saw him. And I'm 5'6", he's like 6'10" or 7'1" or something.
So he didn't see you?
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't see me. He saw the ceiling and but I was checking his shoes out. So I couldn't see above his waist.
Yeah, I figured you probably didn't see any of those people.
Yeah, you usually don't, to be honest.
Yeah. And I'm sure even the ones, there was something in Duke has a terrible football team. They're always horrible. But one of the teacher's aides last year took a picture of a paper one of these dudes wrote, and it was literally 2 paragraphs. It had the teacher had written an A- on it. It was supposed to be a research paper. It had 2 paragraphs, and I swear I think Judah could have done it. My 7-year-old kid, it was unbelievable.
I believe it.
And she posted on social media or whatever after she took it. She was probably pissed.
Yeah,
I bet she probably got in trouble for that. To be honest.
I'm sure.
Yeah, she's probably not working wherever.
I think if your team is bad, then the athletes should be doing their schoolwork and getting an education. But for the athletes that are clearly going to be professional athletes, why does it matter if they do a couple of classes and get so much garbage? That seems like such bullshit to me, because
we could
if you know you're going to be successful because you have a certain set of skills, why would you waste your time doing something else that isn't going to help you in what you have the skill in?
Yeah, but the problem is on the flip side of that is I guarantee you, everybody that plays for the University of Memphis, in their mind, the individual player thinks, I will be playing in the NBA one day. Because, I'm talking to a guy that I used to go to church with, and he did, some ministry stuff in Memphis. And it was for, it was basically, if you got caught doing whatever, it wasn't for, violent people, but if you got caught stealing or something like that, you had the option to go to this thing this church was putting on. And he was I noticed, he was running the thing, and he goes, I noticed all these kids, he was there's probably 25 of them, all from Memphis, and he said, and I noticed every one of them, it seemed was saying they were going to play in the NBA one day. And this guy follows basketball and everything, so he was hey, he was how many of you guys right now, because they're all middle school and high school kids, play for your school? And he said, like, so all but of 25 of the kids, like, all but 3 of them raised their hand and said they were going to be in the NBA. So that's 22 kids, and of those 22 kids, only 4 of them played for their high school team, and they were delusional enough to think that they were going to be in the NBA. And I want you to think about, there are, 32 NBA teams. Each has, like, I don't know for sure, but around an 11-man roster. Mm-hmm. So what's that, like 320 people?
Yeah.
And they're finding them from the world.
Yeah.
Like, you watch an NBA game, like, there's people, Jonas Valanciunas, who didn't come from here,
better chance just going and buying lottery tickets.
That's right.
Speaking of that, I just went and bought a $30 lottery ticket right before I came here.
Jumbo buck?
Yeah, and don't buy them. I mean, this is the 4th fucking time I bought one. 0 money. That's 4 times 30, whatever. I mean, $120 out of my pocket immediately.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say, right when I was coming here, it was funny as fuck because I knew I was back home. I was going down a back road, and this black dude was on a bike holding on to a car's. The driver's seat was down. I mean, the driver's seat window was down. And he was holding on to the inside of it, riding his bike while the girl was going like 30 miles an hour.
That's just smart. That's conserving energy.
Sketching.
Hell yeah, T County. Like, I was back home finally.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But so, my point is, like, if you're playing for a Division I school that at one point was ranked this season, it doesn't matter.
The delusion has never left. It's just been enforced.
And I watch these kids too, like, some of these kids that are on this team, and they're like, 6'8", 6'9", they're supposed to be playing down low, and they hang out around the 3-point line, just jack threes, because they're thinking in their mind, if I'm going to get to the NBA the way it's played now, I got to be able to hit threes.
Yeah.
And so I know that's what they're thinking, and they're out there just sucking, and that guy's never going to be in the NBA. Never.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on a 10-hour talk about how
delusional.
Back to Caleb talking about why focus on school if you know you're going to be going to the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole got to go to college for a year rule is completely ignorant. I mean, and they're passing laws now in California about paying the college athletes, which is super ignorant. But we could talk about that forever.
Why is that wrong? Why is that bad to pay the athletes? Or not necessarily pay them, but allow them to profit off of their name.
I agree that you should be able to profit off of your name, but at the same time, why even make someone go to, for instance, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant? I mean, they went straight from high school to the NBA. Mm-hmm. If you're good enough to go to the NBA or the NFL or if you're good enough to go pro right out of high school, allow that to happen. Don't waste a guy's year and the possibility of them getting hurt. Instead, just send them right to the draft.
Yeah. I think because I don't think it's the colleges doing that. I think it's the NBA's rule. And
it's the NCAA's rule. I'm pretty sure.
I think you have to be a certain
about the
age.
NBA, yes.
Yeah, to get there. And that's why, because you can't, I mean, there were people this year that went and played overseas or whatever. But
of course.
I think that the reason that they do that, if I owned an NBA team, I would absolutely want to keep that in place, because like it's hard to gauge how good these kids are, because you can see them play in high school and they're playing with a bunch of guys like you and me. Like there are guys like you and me on James Wiseman's freaking team. What's going to happen? Like, I mean, obviously they're better than I am, but
I understand what
they're
you're saying.
comparable. So they look like freaking Jordan out there.
Yes, right. And that is true. But the problem with paying kids in college is that only the 1 of 1% should be paid anyways. If you implement that rule, and there's kids that are 3rd, 4th string kickers for a fucking college team, or 2nd, 3rd string, centers and stuff. Those guys shouldn't get paid. The 3 or 4 guys that are in both in college football and in
bringing in
college basketball.
the viewers, the ones that are bringing the hype, they should profit from that.
But that's it.
I'll give
I mean, if you want to implement pay the college kids, they're getting paid. Like I said a minute ago, these kids might not be getting checks every week and stuff, but their houses are paid for. They're getting bonus. They're getting $300 a week for food. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's $1,200 a month. They're just blowing it on whatever. They're getting to go on free plane rides to go wherever they're playing. They're getting free hotel. Like, they're getting paid plenty of money. Their scholarships are paying for their school. That's enough. Let the guys, those 1%, go to the NBA or the NFL right out of college. And if they don't make it, they don't make it. Yeah. But those are the only people that should be getting paid anyways.
What do we mean by getting paid? Because there's a difference between getting paid and being able to profit off of who you are. Like, if I'm a superstar and I want to sell my autograph and people want to buy it, that's nobody else's fucking business. Now, if you're talking about, like, you know, colleges paying kids to come there because they're superstars, that seems like that's going to be weird, right? Because it's going to be whoever has the most money is going to stack the teams.
That's the whole thing with Wiseman is Penny got in trouble for
that was a gray area.
Calls. Do what?
It was a gray area. It was for his family, not for him.
It was, and it was way before. I mean, it was before Penny was even a coach at Memphis.
Exactly.
Well, and two, I think what's going to happen when they do this is, like, you're going to have a Wiseman type dude, and the university can't pay him, but FedEx, who is a big sponsor for the university and gets advertisement just for supporting the university, is going to say, hey, we want to put a FedEx billboard up in Memphis, and we want to put your face on it, James, and we'll pay you $250,000 to be on that. And you're essentially paying them to come to Memphis. It's just you're doing it through FedEx. They're getting the advertisement. So, I mean, those kids are going to get, when that crap goes into effect, those kids are going to, it's going to be like they're getting paid. Because every major university's got people like that are paying big sponsors with tons of money, like FedEx. In fact, it'll be better for Memphis because FedEx is one of the biggest companies and they'll buy players for them.
Of course.
Right.
But,
yeah. I don't know. It's a debatable topic.
Yeah, like, I don't think it's wrong, because my first thought is, like, somebody should be able to make money off their name, image, and likeness kind of thing.
Right.
But also, like, the NCAA doesn't owe you anything. You don't have to play there. Like, if that's their rule. This is a private organization that all these schools are participating in. So, like, it's not like they're violating your rights. You can go make money off of that. Freaking R.J. Hampton went to New Zealand and did that this year.
Yeah.
Instead of going to college. But, you know.
It's not always that easy to just go play overseas somewhere.
Of course.
It is for those kids.
Well, it might be easy, but it's inconvenient.
Oh,
it sucks. Go straight to the.
It sucks.
I mean, for instance, Wiseman's not even playing basketball.
Yeah, he's just sitting out this year.
He's just literally sitting out because he has to be a certain age to get it. I mean, I think that's completely ignorant. Zion Williamson he could have immediately went from high school into the NBA. He's played 10 games and he's had 2 30-point games and a bunch of 20 games. Like, he's dominating already.
But he had a tangible benefit from going from college to the NBA, because when he went in, like, his recruiting class, he was like number 5 or 6. Like, the other kid on his team, I think it was, what was his name, RJ Barrett, like, he was supposed to be better than him. They thought he was going to go. Well, that's the rankings when it came out.
I don't think so. I think he was number 1 in his class, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Or he was number 2. He was 1 or 2.
I've heard them make this point because they were like, he wasn't going to, until he showcased his skill in the NCAA, he wasn't projected to go number 1 or 2 in the draft. Now, I'm pretty sure, I mean, we can look that up. Jamie,
well, it doesn't really matter if you're going 1 or 2 in the draft as long as you're producing what you get.
Well, that's right, but if he...
Did Jordan go 1?
Huh?
Did Jordan go 1?
No, but
Of course.
But it did matter to him when Nike showed up and gave him that big fat contract. They may not have given him half of that if he hadn't been, because last year that's all they talked about was Zion Williamson. So you do get a benefit.
Well, here's also the problem. We can move on from a different topic in a second.
Sure.
The deal with you have to play a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
If all of the really good superstars and all these really good players are playing and they're leaving after a year, you're not going to be able to build a team. You're having to restart every year. And the NCAA, if they made it, they should do it one of 2 ways. You either let the superstars immediately go to the NBA, or you make them play 3 years minimum. That way, because the NCAA, to me, college basketball is way more fun to watch than the NBA because you're playing for something. You're playing for going pro. At that point, if you're making them stay 2 to 3 years, now you can build a team around those guys,
right.
and it's going to be a lot more interesting to watch a bunch of superstars that have been in the NCAA for 2 or 3 years, and they have a team built around them. It's going to be way more competitive, and it'll just be a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah.
With the whole one and done, now you've got all these really good, because we're building around right now. Memphis at least is building around Precious Achiuwa. I mean, he's going to be gone after this year.
Right.
So now we're going to have to get another big man, somebody that's going to play down low. And if he was to stay 2 more years and we were building around that guy and get a couple more good guys in there, it would be a lot more interesting to watch if they all had to stay a little longer.
Yeah.
Or just let them go ahead and go, and the people that come to the NCAA, I think if you come to the NCAA, you just have to stay 3 years.
That makes sense. Because I mean, are they doing more harm by only staying 1 year? Probably, because like you said, they're building a team.
Teams, yes, two
exactly,
college teams they are.
Exactly. And so because you're building a team around one guy in one season, and then he's gone the next season, it's like, well, fuck, you know. So
yeah, we've got to restart. Every year is a restart for Kentucky. All the big name schools, they're restarting every year around another superstar.
Yeah.
And you don't get any chemistry. You don't get, because right now we at first we were ranked 9 at one point in the season, and now we're not even ranked, and we've lost 7 games or something like that. If 2 more years came around and we were all the same team, those kids, think about it, they're only 18 years old.
Absolutely, man.
At 20 years old,
dominating.
you've played for 2-3 years together, it would be so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Here's the other question. If they were to be paid, would they stay longer? Instead of going straight to the NBA,
I think some of them would.
Would they stay?
I think some of them
would. You get that? Would you get
James
3 years
Wiseman
out of somebody?
What makes you a professional is being paid in whatever you're doing. You're a professional at that point. Like golf, for instance, you play in one tournament and you make money off of it. You're not eligible to play in college as a golfer. Like you can't be on a golf team.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you a professional in and of itself. That's the definition. Like if you're getting paid to do your art, you're a professional.
Yeah.
So no, I just disagree with paying college students in general. Let the kids that are going to make their millions off of their likeliness or whatever it is go straight to the draft.
Well, I don't think the NCAA is saying you can't go. It's the NBA. But, I mean, I think they're about to change that back. But
I hope they do.
But the reason I think that they did it is because you get these kids, is kind of what I was saying before. I mean, every year, every year there's this kid that looks great with these high school kids, but then you put him with the 300 best players in the world.
These are
and all of a
grown-ass
sudden you're
men,
like,
dude.
okay,
It's a different
this
world.
Dude can't, and we've given him a contract
But
for
also,
7 years.
You only sign in the NBA. You're not going to sign a guy that you don't have full faith in, obviously.
No, dude, they do it all the time. There's people every year they draft in the lottery that don't turn out to be shit.
Well, of course, there's a lot of busts in the NBA.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If I own one of these teams, you're losing millions.
I want you to go to college, play 4 years, get developed enough, and then come on here.
Well, you can see, and like there are some you can see. Like there was no question, probably with Zion or even James Wiseman, they think that they're going to be. But I mean, like I don't know. You were talking about Jordan being number 7 or whatever. Like I think in his Hall of Fame speech, he named all the people that got picked before him. And, like, I don't know. I think Steph Curry was nothing. I don't think he was anything.
Westbrook was, like, either the very bottom of the first round or second round draft pick. He was ranked, like, 300 in the nation when he was in high school. And, I mean, look at what he's doing now.
Yeah. But, I think that's why they do it. And I don't know. I mean, it's the NBA that's doing it, not the NCAA. The NCAA is just saying you can't make money if you're going to play for us.
Yeah. How many years did Jordan play college ball?
I guess 1. I don't know.
No, 3 or 4.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he won 2.
By the way, I looked up that thing, and R.J. Barrett was ranked higher than
Was
Zion.
he 1 and
It was
2?
Yeah.
Now, I watched RJ play in high school in Arlington, actually. He came down for a tournament and played.
Let me see. I'm going to check how long Jordan was in there.
But no, we can move on from this subject because I can talk about sports for forever.
We will. We'll move on. I want
can
to know
talk
how long
about
Jordan
sports
played now.
never in VIP.
As evidenced by the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He was sitting over there in his Polaroid shirt. Man, he played, it says 81 to 84. So I guess that would be 2 years. I mean, I know it's 3, but I don't know. I guess so. 3 years.
3 years.
That's crazy. Did they make you play longer back then?
I have no clue, to be honest.
Didn't Joey Dorsey stick out and play all 4 years when he didn't really necessarily have to, or was he not good enough to go to the NBA?
Joey Dorsey?
Yeah, for Memphis. Back in the day.
Back when, yeah, like those
CDR and, D-Wash, those days.
He probably stayed
I think he was a senior. Like, I think he played all 4 years, and that team stuck together for a while then.
Yeah.
And they had that same core group for like 4 years.
Yep.
And they were really good.
Yeah. Man, that's freaking... I heard a Zion Williamson interview, and he said that he had made the decision in his head he was going back to Duke. He was like, I'm not going to the NBA. I want to win a championship. Yeah. And he said that they had to... Coach K, the Duke coach, had to go talk to him and be like, listen, man, you cannot do this.
I mean, he's already been hurt. That's another thing. It's like I said, you're injury prone.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to play for... Like, him, especially him being injured and stuff like that, you're risking injury for a year that means nothing to you. If like he said, you're focusing on your art, not your degree. Obviously, if you're going to go in a year.
Yeah.
At that time, he's playing basketball to his fullest, and he's getting an injury or prone to an injury. It's just a waste of time for him. He could already have signed a contract for $10 million, whatever.
Yeah.
And be making his bank. And he's literally just started playing again. He's only 10, 11 games into the season now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's basketball.
I didn't want it to move there, but
you guys, you want to talk about Polaroids, Caleb? Or?
Don't lie, I'm not wearing a shirt.
Yeah, I'm looking at his nipples right now. So
I could cut glass.
Yeah, it is chilly in here.
It's not.
Oh man,
You hit on the natural oil stuff.
what do you want to know?
Just explain it to us. Just sum up that 9-hour video you watched in like 10 minutes.
Did you watch any of it, Jason?
I watched like 7 hours. I didn't get through the whole thing, but yeah.
You did better than me.
I always do better than you, Caleb.
Yeah, typically we always do better than you, Caleb.
I started watching it like a month ago.
That's even worse.
No,
yeah, I started watching it 3 days ago.
Because I waited so that we could do it and prepare for it.
So you decided not to listen to truth when it was in front of you, so that you could wait.
So that I could fully comprehend
You've had
it
a full month of not knowing truth.
And actually absorb the truth instead of just hearing something and then forgetting it.
That is not ignorance. That's nescience.
That is.
No, it's not.
If you ignored it, yeah.
No.
That would be
if
ignorance.
you ignored it, then it would be ignorant.
Maybe I said it wrong.
Nescience would be
if you
not having access
to
the information at all.
Why are you being so ignorant?
Yeah.
Did you know that ignorant should be pronounced ignorance? Because it's not, being ignorant of something doesn't mean that you have never been shown the information, so you don't know you're ignorant of it. That's not what it means. It means that you have access or have been shown the information, but you ignore it. Ignorance. And being nescient is not having access to the information and not knowing. Like a child can't understand gravity because they just can't. They're nescient.
No one can understand gravity, so
you don't have to understand it or believe in it, because the law of gravity will still affect you no matter what you believe in or say or do.
There's flat.
Jump off of a cliff and tell me if gravity's fake after that.
Is it?
Anybody a flat earther?
No.
Is it flat?
Yeah, it's flat.
I saw a video the other day of this flat earther, and he was doing an experiment to prove that the earth was flat. And he's like, he had these boards with holes cut in them set out at a certain distance with a camera, and then he had a guy on the other end, and he said if he holds his camera up 17 feet, the earth is flat, so we'll see the light through the hole. If the earth was round, he'd have to hold the light above his head at about 24 feet above water level or whatever. And so he's looking through his camera, and he goes, do you have it at 17 feet? And the guy goes, yep, it's at 17 feet. And he goes, oh, I'm not seeing anything. Can you raise it up above your head? And the guy goes, yeah. And you just see the light come in, and then he goes, ooh, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Shit on his own.
Yeah, he completely disproved the earth being flat. Like in his own video, I was like, that's funny.
Listen, okay, so here's my question for his theory there. Like, even if, smokes.
Smokes, let's go.
Yeah. Like,
Those are delicious.
So even if the Earth were flat, like, it's obviously, I don't know, like, it's obvious, it's not like a basketball court flat.
Yes,
like,
no,
there could be, so how would that experiment work? Like, it's
that's
clear.
what I was thinking, is that that doesn't disprove the flat Earth theory, because what if the guy was in a bit of a dip?
Yeah.
There are still hills and mountains. It's not just completely
level
flat.
surface.
We were supposedly supposed to die, like, on Saturday around 11 o'clock. There was an asteroid.
I did.
The size of an... you called me and told me about it.
Yeah.
No, there was an asteroid like the size of the Empire State Building or bigger or something that was close to our... I ended up reading about it. It was like 3.7 million light years away, but that's like close in space-time or whatever. But however they measure it.
In the space-time continuum, it exists up there, and it's close in space-time continuum.
Well, no, like,
It still exists.
If everyone just says, But, no, there was a big article about it.
I think you told me about that a little while back.
I didn't.
Someone did.
I had read about it because it was like some like national alert. That
somebody told me about it, that it was a threat and they were checking it out, but it's like, that's bullshit. There was no threat.
CNN fact checked it. It was wrong.
Oh, okay.
But no, Earth's flat.
Might be.
Can you present evidence for that?
Can you present evidence that it's round?
I didn't make a claim.
See, I'm making a claim as a joke.
I didn't either. I was just asking a question.
But at the same time, I'm still like, maybe like 70-30.
Why is it that everything we observe is round?
Like this?
I mean,
what do you mean, like atoms
in space,
in the solar system and the universe, and how it's
why is the moon round?
It's not. It's flat.
So it's a flat disc.
Flat disc, yes.
Like, okay, here's
on its side.
Here's one thing.
Because if it was flat, and we could,
it's up like this.
It's on its fucking side then, because we can see the face of it.
Listen, what's crazy is we only see one side of it. Like, what are the chances of that?
The other side's
Isn't that crazy?
And you know what? His father tried to disprove it or whatever, but
no, he just demonstrated the reason you only ever see one side.
It's an ignorant reason, and it's not the truth.
But why
can we only see one side? Because the fucking Earth is flat and the moon is fake. Now I'm just joking, but half of me's not. So
I mean, there was a weird thing I saw about the moon and the craters of the moon. You can, without a telescope, you can go outside and look at the moon and see the craters on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Every single crater on the moon is a perfect circle. Every single one of them.
Yeah, there's
not a single
it's like
diagonal crater groove, which is, we've seen when things hit the Earth, those types of patterns, how they come in at an angle and they dig a deep trench through. And it's not a perfect circle, it's a trench. Every single crater on the moon came straight down at a 90-degree angle. How do you explain that?
I don't know that.
Gravity, bro.
Yeah, that one is interesting because
There's a lot of stuff
because
that's
gravity on the moon is way less than on Earth, and so it wouldn't even affect it as much, and it would come in and stay going at the same.
Yeah.
It's not going to come in and then all of a sudden drop straight down.
Right.
Like, how does that make sense? And it's something that you can look up and see it with your own eyes, that the craters are circular. Every single one of them is a perfect circle.
That's true.
It's pretty weird.
It is weird.
I don't have no idea what that means. I just know that it's weird, and it's something that I can observe with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, why is it like that?
Well, here's the thing. Like, even though something can be extremely unlikely, you still can't. Like, I do think it is weird that the moon rotates at where we see it. We're only seeing one side because of the way that it's rotating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's weird, and that seems unlikely. But that doesn't mean that it's not true. Like, no, I mean, unlikely stuff happens all the time.
It's kind of hard to like wrap your head around, but it's actually like sort of simple.
Yeah, if you visually explain it, it's kind of simple.
He's being a dick.
I'm not. Like, your dad visually explained it.
Like, with the way that the Earth rotates and the moon rotates and the way that the moon orbits the Earth, it's always that side.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's spinning, and it works pretty simply. But, like, it seems like how could that be? But that's like asking, how could the universe be? How is all of this in existence? It's all mind-blowing.
Because,
because it's a simulation.
Well, in my opinion, like, I'm not an atheist. I think that there's a creator of some sort.
Sure.
And it's all some sort of intelligent design.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Even if it is flat, I still believe that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that a flat Earth doesn't mean that there isn't. See, I don't think that even a flat Earth means there isn't space, and a lot of people try to connect the two, and say space doesn't exist. It's just Earth. There's nothing else in the universe. We're under a dome, and that's it. That seems
biblically,
insane.
it kind of explains it that way, with a firmament and like a separation between two seas, one on Earth and one above the dome. And
don't get them arguing about the Bible, because he hates it.
I'm just saying,
Caleb hates it, and Dana's a Christian.
Meaning a dome, but I'm just saying, biblically, it even explains it that way.
Well, biblically, there's a lot of
yes, of course.
What is there,
falsehoods in the Bible?
And just because you worship Satan doesn't mean you bring it on this podcast.
You can piss Daniel off?
No, dude.
What'd
He
you
was
say?
talking about all the.
What'd you say?
All the falsehoods this
About
morning
the
with
Bible?
the Bible. There's a lot of good truths in the Bible, but I think it was corrupted by, different people over the years, and
not just the Catholic Church,
lots
but
of-
yes,
lots
they had a
of
part of it.
Yeah.
If you follow what Jesus taught, it lines up with natural law, and it's the only thing that matters.
Jesus was an anarchist.
Touch on natural law, please, because I was wanting to just touch on it so I could.
Okay.
Explain it to us, Daniel.
Man, that's rough. Don't come at me like that. Basically, we're all governed by it. There's no, whether you believe it or not, or you don't understand it or not, it exists. It is what truth is.
It's self-evident.
Right. And let's see.
You mean to read you the definition of natural law?
That'd be great. You can
Just
start
read,
there.
Sure, you can read it.
Universal, non-man-made, binding and immutable conditions that govern the consequences of behavior. Natural law is a body of universal spiritual laws which act as the governing dynamics of consciousness. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the most simplified definition
Yes,
of it.
of course.
Expand on that, Daniel.
It boils down to you have the right to do anything you would like to do as long as you don't harm another sentient being.
Yeah.
Directly.
Exactly. And
It's
go ahead.
a lot of it can be summed up in the non-aggression principle.
Right. That's one half of it.
Yeah.
That's one pillar of natural law. There's two pillars. The non-aggression principle would be the sacred feminine pillar of natural law, and the sacred masculine pillar of it would be self-defense. So non-aggression would be you're never the aggressor.
Well, yeah, but that's the same thing. Like the non-aggression principle, when
Right.
you look it up, doesn't have any.
But if you're too far on the sacred feminine and you neglect the fact that there is a sacred masculine, then you're not participating in what the whole of it is.
I haven't finished the video, but the non-aggression principle from other stuff I've read is not pacifism. It
No,
just means
it's not.
the easiest way I've had it explained to me is I can go out in my front yard and I can swing my hands around whichever way I want to, but if you're standing out there, I can't just beat the shit out of you.
Right.
And say, well, I have the right to swing my hands around and you were in my way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you can defend yourself.
You can
the
defend
non-aggression principle doesn't mean
But
you can't do
but
that.
what he's saying is the part where you would defend yourself comes from the masculine pillar of the natural law, where you take the action, right, and put it into place. I think isn't that what you're kind of trying to say?
Right. Because
it requires both.
It requires both.
And
because you have some people that go,
but it's kind of two sides of the same thing.
Some people would say that being aggressive in any way is wrong, no matter what it is. They'll even use the Bible as an example and say, you should turn the other cheek, but that's not what that means. And so you can use up to deadly force if necessary to protect yourself. That is a God-given right. That is a part of natural law.
Yeah.
To protect yourself, self-defense. That's the masculine side of the two pillars of it.
Yeah, but I don't think the non-aggression principle when people use it is like the feminine side of that.
But that's what it encompasses. Like the sacred feminine encompasses the non-aggression principle, whereas the masculine encompasses the self-defense
The second
side.
part of it.
The second part of what is a total thing. It's what you're saying is what you have, what you've understood as of what the non-aggression principle is really dissected into two pieces.
Okay.
And the two pieces are, you're never the aggressor, but if someone is aggressive towards you, you are allowed to use aggression to defend yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Yes. We're on the same page.
I'm a little confused about.
I don't understand why you're confused.
I think where Mark Passio gets that from is the left brain and the right brain, and how it is. That not kind of where he drew that from?
Yes,
where
the right brain is the non-aggression. The left brain is the defend
feminine
yourself.
side. The left brain is the masculine side, and it takes both in
unison
together to
in harmony.
accomplish the right thing. If you have too much of one or too much of the other, you're not going to be able to live a life like this, or to even understand this kind of stuff. And so it's a balance of both to be able to get the full picture.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
So here's what it boils down to. The only laws that matter are natural laws. Any man-made laws either are they what's the word I'm looking for? They coexist with natural law, which means that they're repetitive and there's no reason to write them down, because if you're murdering, raping, stealing, or trespassing or coercion, right? Any of those things are all a form of theft, because you're taking something from someone.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason to write those laws down, because they're already in effect in natural law. Any other man-made laws that are written down would be taking the rights away from you to do something, because what you're doing doesn't necessarily harm anyone. But society says, well, you shouldn't bang heroin into your arm. But that's not you as yourself doing that is your prerogative. You can do that. You're harming yourself, maybe, because that's necessarily not, it's not healthy to do that. But no one owns you, so no one can tell you that you can't do that.
Of course, I agree, but at the same time, you don't agree with just. I feel like it's kind of immoral to let people just tear themselves apart.
That it's no one else's place to tell another person what they can and can't do, or to stop them from doing what they want to do with their own body.
Whether someone chooses to live an immoral life, there's a cause and effect for everything in the universe. So justice will happen on them if they choose to live a horrible life. And you don't need a government doling out justice on things that aren't even wrong in the first place.
No, I agree with that.
When the universe will take care of this on its own, because every cause has an effect. And you learn this in religion and science and just about everything, that every cause has an effect. So you may not see that effect immediately, but you live a horrible life, it's going to come around to bite you in the ass. And so it works itself out. Natural law solves everything, right? Now, not in the sense of it's going to be perfect for everyone and it's all going to be great, but it gives you the only real true freedom that you can have. There's no other system that allows people to be free. Every system that's in place keeps everyone as slaves. 100%.
Yeah, Ayn Rand said that the only moral way to deal with another man is through logic and reason. And I think that was the same thing she was getting at. Force is not okay. So, in the case of, the heroin addict or someone that's suicidal or something like that, I don't think it is immoral to physically restrain them from doing that stuff, because it's not your property.
You do think that it's immoral?
Yes, it is immoral to physically restrain them from doing that stuff. That's not yours.
No one owns
your decision.
Them.
Yeah,
they're a sovereign being, and if they're a sovereign being, then they can choose to put into their body whatever they want to.
Yeah,
it's no other person's. They don't have any authority over them to tell them that they can't. That doesn't align with natural law. Mm-hmm. And so you're forcing another human being to not do something that they want to do when they're not hurting anyone but themselves.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're hurting themselves, they will pay the consequence for that.
Yeah.
But that's their choice. That's something that they can do.
And see, and that's interesting too, because you hear politicians and people say stuff like, healthcare is a right. Mm-hmm. And that, I like how he explains in it, I guess, from the negative You know, you have a right to pursue health care, but you do not have a right to have it provided to you. Because if you do that, then that means the person that is providing the health care has no rights, because you deserve that. So he can't say no.
Right. Yeah, and that's wrong.
Yeah,
That's immoral.
It's theft.
Yeah, you're stealing from that person. And if you're ever stealing from someone, then you're breaking natural law. And it can be any form of theft.
Yeah, I liked how he was like, it's all summed up. He was like, these are the whatever the four things that are wrong, and then he was like, it can all be summed up in personal property, because your body is your personal property. What's interesting, and I don't remember which one of the founding fathers did this, but the whole life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness was not originally that. They changed it to that. It like the original idea was life, liberty, and personal property rights.
See, that's beautiful.
Yeah, but they changed it to the pursuit of happiness,
Which is whatever the government tells you should be.
Yeah. But in reality, it's property
Who
rights.
changed it and when?
No, I don't think when they ratified it, it was that way. But the guy that initially proposed it, and it might have been Jefferson, I feel like he wrote a lot of that stuff. I'd have to go back and look. But the original idea was life, liberty, and personal property, and then they changed it. It was ratified the way that it is.
Too much good truth to put in there. We got to take some of that out.
We got to dilute a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's, I mean, under this current system that we're in, we're all slaves because, first of all, we pay taxes. So we earn income, right? And the government forces us to give us a percentage of that income. And they go, well, we're providing a service to you that we're not allowed to opt out of. What if I go, I don't want to pay taxes and I don't want your services. They don't even allow you to do that, right? So that's ridiculous. The fact that there are licensing
like
and permitting.
Services like what?
Services like we make sure the roads are paved.
Okay.
The
right?
police,
the police
fire
force,
department,
fire department,
post office.
Well, this is something I would love to argue.
All of the most
with you guys about.
ineffective departments of the
What
government.
are you touching him for? Stop touching
Yeah,
him.
quit touching
You
it.
got something on your lip?
Yeah, no.
That's his property. You don't have any right to be
You're preaching
shoving your
I'm
finger
breaking
into
it right
and
now.
you're fucking
Yeah.
touching
That's
it.
right.
I want you to finish that.
What
just
have
so
I,
I want to
have I
correct what
harmed him?
I would. It
Have I
would,
taken
it would,
something
it
from
would have
him?
harmed
Have I
me.
stolen
You
something
took a
from
little
him?
bit of his
Yeah.
dignity.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have-
Okay.
You're just over there just.
Basically getting food off of my lip like you were.
Yeah,
like we're
how do you
married.
know he wasn't saving that for later?
Yeah.
I apologize.
That's my.
I apologize.
That's my dad's camp.
I'll
Before
pay the
you argue
consequences
this, I
for
want to
that.
correct something I just said. It was gonna be life, liberty, and property. I think that was John Locke said that. He said Locke believed that the most basic human law of nature is the preservation of mankind. To serve that purpose, he reasoned individuals have both a right and a duty to preserve their own lives.
John Locke. That's
So-
the
Guy from Lost.
Yes.
from Lost. There you go. I knew one of you knew it.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Things like roads and stuff like that. Do you not use roads?
Yeah, and I have to get my tires replaced all the time because they never fix the fucking potholes like they say they're going to. that people pay taxes for them to fix.
Would you rather drive through the woods or would you rather drive on roads that
I
are
would
kind of
rather
shitty?
the public fix the roads like they do in a lot of places. Like Domino's went around fixing potholes for a whole
And that's
city.
a corporation spending their own money
Yes.
on fixing stuff.
Yes.
You know why they do that? Because it's beneficial to them.
Listen to me. I'm a
Exactly.
Papa John.
Because their
I'm a
drivers have to
delivery-
drive the roads.
delivery guy.
Like
I know this stuff.
The thing is that the things that you need will happen. You'll make them happen. The government doesn't make them happen already. The things that they say we need and that the agencies they put into place aren't doing the job that they say they're supposed to do.
See, I'm going to play devil's advocate because
That's fine.
there's a lot of stuff that we need that they provide.
What we're saying is that it would still be provided because it's
In
essential
best interest of the corporation.
of corporations and people.
Of
Yeah.
of people.
Right.
Of the
I
population.
have a road in front of my house here that leads to the other road. The government didn't do any of that. I put that there.
You put it there?
Me.
Impressive. How long
that's
did it
what-
take you to pave it?
But that's what I like. I think that's the lie that people do, or that is propagated that people believe, is that these things wouldn't happen if the government wasn't providing them because they've always provided them.
Yeah.
So, like, I bet people in other If the government had always provided health care, I'm sure people in that society would be saying, "Well, who's going to provide the health care?"
Right.
You know.
We will. The money is ours anyways, right? Like the money they take from me out of each check is mine
30%?
anyways.
15.
Regardless of what the percentage is, it doesn't matter. You could take 100% or you can take 1%. You're still forcing me to give you money.
I agree with that.
Unwillingly.
It's 100% so.
It's wrong. And that money, like we would have it in our pockets. And if the road in front of my house is so fucked up that I can't pull out of my driveway, I'm going to use my money to make sure that it gets paved.
And you're going to hire someone for it.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. A private
absolutely.
contractor who will
But
make
you
money
know what's going to
doing
happen?
that job.
When I give that
boosts the
money away,
economy.
I'm going to know exactly where the fuck it went. Whereas now, I give my money away unwillingly to tyrants, and they take it, and I never know where the fuck it goes.
And this is a hypothetical, but you get somebody to do a job for you. Maybe you work up a contract that says, if I'm not happy with the job, I'm getting my money back. And that may not every person may be willing to that, but you don't get nothing like that with the government. If you're not satisfied with the job they do, guess what? Keep paying them. Because that's all you can do, or they're going to come to your house with guns and throw you in jail.
With guns.
With guns.
That they're trying to ban.
Exactly.
Well, they want to.
They'll keep them. They're never going to get rid of them for themselves.
I saw
Yeah,
an interesting clip. It was like Tucker Carlson talking to Adam Carolla, and they were talking about the homeless issue in L.A. And Adam Carolla was talking about how the people of L.A. have kind of separated the population into the people with money, the very wealthy, and then the empty bags that have nothing, they're poor. And he said the police, because Tucker was like, why don't they do anything about the homelessness in L.A., right? And he was like, the police, he goes, every person I know has gotten a ticket for not having a front license plate on their car. They set up on all the streets waiting for the soccer moms to come back going 45 into 35.
Yeah, dude.
They are on top of writing tickets and making sure you pay for your permits and all of this stuff. But they don't enforce any laws on homeless people because they have no money to give them. Right. Why would you care about them? They're actually costing the city money, so they're no benefit. They're not benefiting at all. So they're just going to focus on the people who have money and write them tickets and do this and that.
Because they're not there for your safety. They're there to collect revenue. That's what they've always been there for.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and I've already talked about all drugs should be legal and all that. But if you put me in charge of the Memphis City Police Department and just gave me as much resources as they have, I can get drugs for the most part. I mean, people are still going to do drugs, but they know who's dealing the drugs. They just don't want to deal with that because it might be a freaking war to stop them from doing that. They're not dealing with that stuff. Like Caleb said, there's no money in it for them. They're going to put people in jail, but it's only going to be a few people, and it's going to stop what's going on.
You're saying they don't focus on the war on drugs?
Yeah, yes, I don't think they actually do. They'll pull somebody over.
That's really the only thing that the fucking cops give a shit about.
Well, they get only the people driving
the
around,
people that can pay them the tickets
gangster
or get
disciple
themselves.
guy that's telling.
I was going to say, ask Caleb right now.
When I used to go to
he'll
Memphis
know.
every day and get dope, the cops would post up outside the D-Boy's house, and they would pull over the customers.
Yeah.
They knew the guy's been selling. They got
we would call the D-Boy sometimes, and he'd go, "Hey, don't come through right now. Give me an hour because they pulling over everybody leaving my house."
But they ain't busting him.
It took them
that goes against what you were just saying.
It took them years before they finally arrested that man.
Well, it's kind of like the homeless thing you were just saying. Why try to profit off the people that are pulling out with the dope that obviously
because they do have money.
No, the people with the money are the ones selling the drugs to the fucking
dope.
No.
But here's the thing. But they're not going to take that money. See, here's the thing. If you just sit up there, it's the whole thing. You can shear a sheep. How many ever times you can only skin it once. If you're sitting out there pulling over, giving these fines and tickets,
I agree with that.
Yeah, but that guy, you cut off the source.
You cut off the source. You can't. Your revenue source has been dried up.
They will knock out a big dealer so they can make it look good and go, look at this. Drugs on the table. Isn't that what they say in The Wire? Drugs on the goddamn table. That's all they ask for is they want a bunch of drugs for a photo op. Yeah. And that's one dealer who was just replaced by another one, and it didn't solve anything, and then they go back to arresting all the people who are just buying drugs. And
because
those people,
it's a revenue thing.
That's all it is. A lot of junkies don't have a lot of money, and they make their money and they spend it all on dope. But most of them have some parents. They'll pay for their legal fees, and they get that money out of them eventually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a huge, huge revenue for the city to arrest all of the users instead of dealing with the problem.
Yeah. I got pulled over the other day and freaking on Tipton Road down here. Mm-hmm. And like, so I was going, I did not think I was speeding. Mm-hmm. Like I get pulled over. The guy goes, you know why I pulled you over? I hate that. I hate it. Just tell me why you pulled me over.
Never
this isn't a guessing game.
Anything.
No,
first
just
of all,
tell me.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and so he goes. I got you going. Like 41 in a 30. It was something like that, like just over 10 miles an hour. He goes, "Is there a reason you were going so fast?" Another thing I hate. Sir,
was I harming another human being?
And like, so I was like, man, I really didn't realize it, but I didn't realize, I told the guy, I was like, I didn't realize the speed limit changed, which I think I did realize it. I started thinking about this while he was writing the ticket, and he came back up, and I guess I used my white privilege. I was like, man, where were you sitting? And he was like, oh, just right down there on whatever drive it was. And I was like, oh, so right at the sign then. And I was actually, because it went from like 45 to 35 or whatever it was. And I was actually decelerating. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't going the speed limit. Yeah, and he pulled me over there. And I told him, like, I was like, man, I know you're doing your job. I said, but you're not protecting anybody. You're not giving a service to anybody doing this. It's a speed trap, and it's only to perpetuate the system. Like it just helps you hire more cops to do this more often. He was like, well, man, right up there where it's on the square, we don't pull people over anymore because we were getting all these complaints because it went from 30 to 20. I said, man, you just did that just a little farther down the road to me. Like, and he was like, man, I don't know what to tell you. I was like, I'm not trying to get
you don't know
sideways
what to tell me
with
because you're an order follower.
Yeah.
Which is the fucking problem with the world. The hell's wrong with you, dude?
I know, and I'm just like,
and that goes back to what I wanted to cue in on about that you guys were arguing about a couple podcasts ago about people are always going to be fucking followers and order followers at that. People don't know how to run their own lives. They want someone else to run their lives.
Right, but the reason that they do that is because they don't have the knowledge necessary to understand anything different.
It's because of the government.
No. Even if they did have knowledge, they wouldn't want to learn the knowledge because it's easier for them to just follow orders. That's how
there are people like that, but
that's 90% of people.
I don't know about 90%.
I mean, obviously,
I would say probably a majority.
More than half.
But
the majority, yes.
The same way that those people's brains were written to think that way, they can be rewritten, right? And it may take a very long time, but the reason people think that way is because of all the bullshit propaganda that the governments of the world have fed to the population.
I disagree with that.
They make people think that they can't fend for themselves. They have to have a government.
It's
they have
all
to have these
brainwashed.
masters
we've all been fed the same
keep
shit.
them.
No, we've all been fed the same shit. People are born different and are breeded different. I don't believe in following orders at all.
Yes, but at a time
and it had nothing to do with the knowledge.
There was a time when you did.
There was never a time that I did. That's why I got in trouble in school. That's why I always was in fights with my parents.
Okay, maybe not following orders necessarily, because most of the time kids are rebellious anyway. That's not a fair example. But there was a time where you were completely a statist. The government is what we need. We just need the right guy in there. We got to do this.
Well, it starts with school.
Because if we get the right guy in there, he'll be able to fix everything. He'll really get the country right on track and make America great again, right? That's bullshit, though.
Daddy Trump, baby.
And I was a Bernie supporter.
God,
freaking
4
or 5 years ago.
Same here, man.
Now I don't believe in the institution of government at all. So if someone can go from that within 4 or 5 years, then anyone can change their mind. Think about all the crazy Bernie. I was a crazy Bernie supporter.
You were not you were never a crazy. If you're a real Bernie supporter, you're fucking crazy, and there's no.
I was pretty crazy.
I was right there, man. Listen,
Neither of you were.
And 5 years before that, my whole
you've always the both of you been really open minded. Period, and that's why you've been able to change.
No.
Yes,
no,
100%.
I have not. I was not. Not until
church.
Not until 10 years ago.
That's been half of my fucking life, so that's half of how I know.
But that's only a quarter of his life.
Exactly,
1/3 of his life.
1/3 of mine. Right?
You're 40.
I'll be 30
just made you 40.
Jesus Christ. My point is, though, once you grew the fuck up, you realized You're not just following the norm or the order and stuff like that.
Right, but
people are built that way.
But what I have to believe is that if I was in a position 10 years ago that was so different than where I am today, that I have to believe that other people can change as well. And it all has to do with if you give them the right knowledge, I can only hope that they will start to actually accept that knowledge and change their behavior.
And, you know, like you said, a lot of people are followers, but if you can get them to follow the
90%.
truth instead of a person, then maybe they'll be able to realize that they can take care of themselves.
But
right?
the thing is,
because following something isn't wrong, it's following other people.
They will listen to the person that they follow.
But not always, because I used to do that. I used to listen to the people that I followed, and
the world right now?
Because of all the bullshit that
because
they
they're following the person instead of the truth. When they see truth, they say, this is a complete lie. These are fucking tampered with statistics and everything else, and they deny it completely because they don't want to know the truth. They want to follow the person that they...
That's called ignorance.
Exactly.
Yes,
and like I said, I believe it's somewhere close to 90%.
Right.
What's the thing that Peterson talks about with the... Is it 20-80?
80-20. Pareto principle.
So 80. Because those 20% people that are actually successful are the people that aren't listening to the bullshit all the time and following people. They're the ones that want to produce themselves and have confidence in themselves.
But a lot of times, those 20% are not following natural law either. They're
stepping
on people and crushing people.
But I'm not talking about natural law right now. I'm talking about confidence in yourself and your own beliefs. Most people fail because they have beliefs in other people's belief systems, and they follow people instead of truth.
Yes,
and that's why they're lost.
I think
I'll say 80
a
instead of 90.
follower has the ability to follow the truth instead of another person.
They don't want to, is what I'm saying.
But they don't want to.
There was a time where I
they're
didn't want to.
brainwashed. Yes, exactly. Listen, it's taken me. You just said that Caleb and I are open-minded
Old
people.
as fuck.
Okay, you said we're open-minded people. It's taken me 10 years to get to where I'm at. From where I was I was a follower.
You did.
I followed pastors. I followed all sorts of people because I thought that they were right. It takes a while to finally find truth.
The guy who did this presentation that we watched, Mark Passio, he was in the deep occult, a Satanist for over 10 years.
Watched hours of him.
Now, he is a de-occultist. He is trying to bring that information to the light.
I'm saying...
He was the exact opposite. He was working every day to keep this information from people. Now, he does the opposite. He had 180.
Maybe the reason that I'm saying this is because I deal with people that are a lot younger and their brains haven't developed and stuff like that, of course. But those are the people that are making decisions now, younger generation.
But what you need to start doing is preaching the truth to them.
Listen to me.
And if it may not work all the time,
I get called a lunatic by my friends all the time for saying anything that's out of line of the norm that they hear.
Well, start figuring out a different way to say it.
Yes, but no. It's more like... It's like literally talking to someone that's insane because they don't want to hear anything you have to say because you're the insane person to them because you have a different mindset.
What do they believe? What do these people believe that you talk to?
Jesus Christ. You would lose your mind. And that's what I'm saying.
Is it like New Age bullshit?
It always is the New Age progressive bullshit. And it's going to take years and years and years for them.
Yeah.
Maybe not just because I'm an outlier and there are a lot of people like me that they open their eyes a lot earlier, but it's because I hung out with people that were a lot older than me, like you two and fucking my brother and stuff like that.
Dude, that's not cool.
Yeah. Don't hang out with older people. No, but I've talked to plenty of old people that say, "Oh, you're like an old soul" or whatever. But there a lot of the younger people my age, 20 to 25, that they're just so fucking lost. They just listen to anything that's pushed down their throat.
The reason that they're lost is because the shit that's pushed down their throat is all mind control bullshit, man. And what we're saying
totally agree with it.
Yeah, what we're saying is that the only way we can change this is to tell them the truth. What they do with that truth is, I can't control that.
But the truth is a lie to them because that's not what they've heard their whole life.
That's fine.
It's literally like me joking about flat Earth. You've been told your entire life, I grew up in public school learning the Earth is round. If it ended up being flat, and I'm not joking about it, it ended up being flat, I would deny it. Everyone would deny it. They'd say this is lunacy. You're a moron. For all the people, if in 10 years it was proven to be flat, everyone would be like, they would still deny it. To this, they would still say that fuck no. And
there would
the
be
same
people
thing
that do
with
that.
everything.
Yes, that's the thing that happens with people.
It's the same with any concept. You're taught from a young age a certain belief, and you won't break away from it, regardless of what the truth is.
I think that there are some people like that.
There's majority people like that.
I don't think it's the majority. I think that maybe the majority of people are like that for a certain portion of their life. But I don't think the majority of people stay in that their entire life. Whether they come out to find the actual truth, but most of the time throughout someone's life, their opinions and views on life are going to change drastically by the beginning to the end of their life.
It's happened with me.
A lot of the people that you're interacting with probably are very set in their ways right now, just like I was when I was that age. And even when I got out of the Bernie phase, when I was watching Milo and freaking Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder, I was like a lunatic. I was a fucking moron watching them every day going, everything these guys say is just golden. It's all horse shit.
It's comedy.
Except for Crowder's emblem.
His emblem is a picture of his face. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but when it pops up on the screen.
No, they're all gold.
You copied Crowder's emblem for us, is what
they
we're saying.
They are fucking gold. And you can still...
I agree with some of the things that those people say.
But buying all of it is
they're
wrong.
All alt-right neo-Nazis.
No. But they are...
The fact that they believe in government.
Statist
They're all statist.
I agree.
Who won't talk about real issues they know are problems because they're being paid off to not.
In all fairness, we don't know what Milo will say because he's on horse tranquilizer somewhere.
No one cares about Milo.
He loves horse tranquilizer. Ketamine or whatever.
Yeah. Ketamine?
Special K.
He's talked about that.
Yeah.
Like when he was popular.
I've heard him mention it, but I didn't realize
Special
that was
K.
a fucking horse tranquilizer.
Yeah, it is. It's like a lot more than just a horse tranquilizer, but yeah.
I have to say I'm in a way bigger social circle than you guys are.
Sure. I'm not saying this is going to be easy or I'm not even saying that spreading this knowledge will come to any sort of fruition.
Well, it's what I'm trying to say.
It may never.
Once you get older, your social circle it drastically changes to almost nothing. People move on. They live their own lives. And it's not to insult any of you. You're fucking 10 years older than I am. I'm in basically the prime of the amount of socialness I'm going to get into.
Sure.
You get to see a lot of different viewpoints. Once you get older, you're living and you associate yourself with people that see the same way as you. You don't want to fucking be around a bunch of lunatics that believe something different than you, whether you're being right or wrong. I work with people that are... I'm the youngest guy by like 20 years, 30 years at my work. And I work at fucking Papa John's. Isn't that sad? Either way. Like, literally.
Burn.
I hate to say it. I love all the people that work there, but fuck. What are you doing? But they're associating themselves with people in their same views. That's how everyone works.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm in a system where I'm seeing a million different views.
Mm-hmm.
There are not a lot of fucking people that want to see open-minded. They believe something and they run with it. And anyone that tries to challenge them, you're immediately an idiot, you're a moron, you're a psychopath, you're whatever they want to call you.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's 100% fine. And I've been called that my whole fucking life.
Right.
Because most of the people I hung out with were always indoctrinated in a certain belief and just believed that from the get-go. It stays that way their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where the fuck I was going with this, but that's the problem, is that people don't want to see a different point of view.
Sure. That doesn't mean that you don't speak truth. Truth exists regardless of what people believe. Truth is something that's there.
What I'm trying to make, though, is that, once again, people don't want to hear the truth, even if it is the truth.
Doesn't matter. The only thing we can do...
That matters because you can't change that.
No, here's the thing. I'm not saying that in our lifetime we're going to be able to change anything. What I'm saying is that if you know the truth, then you need to speak the truth. That's the only thing you can do. And if enough people start learning the truth and speaking the truth, things might change in the future. It more than likely will not happen in any of our lifetime.
It won't.
and that's fine.
You also have to realize, like, people are influenced by other people. We know this, right?
Yes.
And
most.
You get enough people, and you know, you say people don't want to change their minds. That's not true. A lot of people don't. Some people will never. But a lot of people do change their minds. And if you get enough people to do it, and you get the right people to do it, they can change even more minds. And it's something that is very worth going after and trying to accomplish, because the end result will be so much better. I mean, being free versus being a slave is always going to be better.
A lot of it's incremental too. Like, I mean, I know that's how it happened with me, probably you guys too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not most people, like, if you're talking about these people and giving them that 9-hour lecture we just listened to, most of them would be like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But I mean, it takes a lot to get there.
Man, if I had not had the stepping stones first to that point, I don't think I would have accepted what I've heard now.
Well, so that's one of my points, though.
But yes, and none of us are saying this is going to happen overnight.
The first stepping stone we went on was Bernie, and we ended up at anarchy.
I still don't believe that.
But okay,
I need to elaborate. What do you mean?
I have known you fuckers for my entire life, and I've never heard you Bernie.
Oh, they definitely were. Like, when
you have to realize, you're fairly young, right? So 4 years ago, when the election was happening, like Caleb and I were.
It was even before that. It was it was like pre-election.
You went from Bernie to Trump Daddy?
Yes.
To anarchy.
No, anarchy's always. I don't know. I don't like saying the word anarchy because there's a.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, it's not that. My point is.
It means
people that hear the word anarchy immediately think
chaos,
lunatics, chaos. That's my point.
That's
it's
the same.
It's the same
the
with saying Illuminati.
That it doesn't mean.
When you say Illuminati, people immediately discredit you.
Yes.
When you say conspiracy theory, people immediately discredit you. Avoid that word. That's your first start.
Or start teaching people what the real word means.
Anarchy means the word no masters, correct?
And teach someone the way that anarchists believe, and I promise you, I don't know. Words are tied to a certain meaning
by manipulation.
Yes.
Because if you look at the root of where these words come from, most of the time they don't mean what we assume that they mean.
I agree, but I'm saying, and I tried to tell Austin this. It's like Passio comes up in a fucking sweatshirt and some joggers on and long hair, beard. Looks like a guy that would be an occultist because that's what you tie to. You guys have long hair, so in the beards, it's like, oh, you can't. I immediately can't listen to you because you have a graphic tee on. Mm-hmm. That's the point. It's manipulation. Wear the fucking suit and tie. Fit the part that people want to listen to, and you will be more effective. And I had a big argument with Austin about this.
I don't agree with that at all.
Of course you don't. And I'm not saying...
because you're an idiot.
Because you're an idiot. No, because you have a fucking beard and long hair. No. I agree that you shouldn't have to, but that's the way to reach people. You have to present yourself in the way that people want to listen to you in order to be effective.
But I think that he reaches a lot of different types of people. And
I disagree.
Do you look at all the people in his crowds and go, they all look just like him?
Yes.
You're so full of shit.
There's even something that he said that he said, look, I present things the way that I present them, and I don't have a whole lot of patience with people. He goes, I'm hoping to win over certain people that are not what do you say? They're not so easily offended, right? He goes, if I can win some of those people over, maybe they can present this in a different light. And that's what I was saying
before.
Right? Maybe they can present it a different way than I present it, and therefore you could reach even more people. He goes, me, personally, I can't present this any other way than the way that I present it.
Which is perfect for me.
If there's enough.
Because
it works for
honest.
me too.
But no, I see, not because of the way he looks, but because he's a real human being. He's not putting on a show, and he's giving truth. That's all I need.
Well, you just said you used to listen to Ben Shapiro. He never dressed like you. He's a little goofy, little
I don't wear yarmulkes.
No, and I'm not saying... What I'm saying is the mass populace wants to hear from someone that's well presented.
I said that earlier.
And I talked to Austin about this, and it was one of the podcasts you guys talked about. I can't remember what it was. Not even going to try to remember. But if you fit the part that most people want to listen to, you'll be way more effective.
I agree with that. Right.
And it's, for instance, I was telling him the most interesting people that I've ever talked to are the ex-junkies, the people that have been through shit, their parents got divorced, this, and this. It's the same with comedians. They say the same shit. You're not... The most interesting people you're ever going to meet are the people that have been through something. Those aren't the people that the mass majority have a focus on. They have a focus on the people that are well-dressed, well-suited, have this charisma about them, the fakes, the fucking
Elon
phonies.
Musks. He's not a fake,
that,
but I'm saying he's that kind of
when you have that persona,
a successful person who people look up to.
People will follow you just because of your look.
I agree with that.
And what I was telling him is, even with Mark Passio, because I started watching Passio after Austin talked about it, he would be so much more effective to a mass majority if he presented himself a different way. See, and I'm not saying it's not wrong. What I'm saying is it's the fucking truth.
What I disagree with on that is I think authenticity is more important than
I do too.
Than faking something. So,
once again, I said I agree.
And that's why I like what he says about he presents it the way he presents it, and he hopes that other people take it.
I've heard him say
they can present it in maybe a better way where another different group of people will accept it. Well, and that's what I had said before was if you get it out to the right people, those people are other people look up to them, and then now they're saying it, and then they'll listen to it with more open ears than from someone like Mark Passio, who they would go, "Oh, this guy's a creep."
Yeah, but it's kind of like the incremental stuff I was talking about before. We were talking about Crowder and Shapiro and all those guys. Like, there is some truth in some of the stuff that they're saying. Yeah. They just don't go all the way. They stop at a certain point or whatever. And I almost wonder, like, if you're still at a point that you care what somebody's wearing when they're telling you something, are you even at a point where you could hear what Passio's saying?
Well, this is the point I keep trying to make is, for instance, one example would be tattoos. Like I said, long hair, beard, stuff like that. People discredit you immediately. And they associate you with a certain group of people.
But you're talking about a certain group of people, because there's also a large group of people who see someone like that and go, "Hey, I like this guy. He's got tats. So do I."
It's not a large group. It's not a large group.
It is.
In the majority, it's not a large group.
It's the tattooed community is almost becoming a majority. Tattoos are growing at a very fast rate.
But what I'm saying is, say you have a sleeve, you come up with gauges and a fucking note and a septum piercing. People are going to take you less serious than a guy who's clean shaven.
I agree with that.
I'm not saying what I'm trying to say is this is the exact problem. That's the problem with America, with the entire world, is that perception is everything, regardless of what you're saying. People focus on what you look like and how you sound. If a guy with a speech impediment with fucking glasses and was fat as shit, they would take him so much less serious than a guy that's well groomed, well suited, and has a good physique.
I think it depends on what the person has to offer, because you got these cases of like Susan Boyle or any comedian that has a stutter, and they're very successful, and people saw them and thought what you're saying at first. Comedians. No, but it's Susan Boyle wasn't a comedian. She just had a great voice. People saw her and said, "Oh, gross. She's awful. She's gross looking. She could never do it. She has no talent." She started singing, and it blew people away, and she became this sensation, right? So I agree with you, but it's not always that way. It's not set in stone like that. Well, if what the person has to offer is greater than your perception of who they are as a person based on their appearance, you can overlook that. But not everyone will, but some people who typically wouldn't might.
Majority won't.
But the point is
that's my exact no. That's
Mark
my exact
Passio's not the
point.
only person who's out there.
Yes, but Mark
spreading
Passio
this information
is one of the main guys doing it.
He's one of the smartest.
He's one of the most effective. And I'm not saying he should change his appearance. What I'm saying is to reach the majority, you have to be that way. And I'm not saying it's not. That's the entire problem with the not just the country but the world, is that perception literally is everything. It's the same with.
I wish I remember what he said about perception at the beginning of that.
Well, I know he mentions in his in one of his lectures that I talked about, I don't care what you think of me. I don't care I don't care what I dress like. He mentions all of that stuff, and he says, I'm not here to look a certain way and present a certain way. Him say that. I'm here to be effective, and he is. But a lot of people won't take him serious. And I'm just talking out of experience of people that I know that wouldn't take someone like that serious because of the way they look. And to me, it's ignorant. I agree.
Yeah, but there are people like that.
It is that way.
It's not just ignorant to you; it's ignorance.
Yes.
Yes, it's ignorance. But it's the way that I've been. Think about this: a guy comes up to your front porch in a suit and tie, and very handsome, and it's trying to talk to you. You're going to feel less uncomfortable. You're going to feel more like this guy's legitimate. If I came up in joggers and a ripped up shirt, and say a band shirt, with long hair and a scruffy beard, this guy's going to think me as a joke. That's just the way the world works.
Sure. Okay, look, that's fine. Here's the thing. The guy that's presented this information is not the fucking savior of the world. He's only presenting knowledge, and the other people that take this knowledge can then present it the way that they feel is best to reach the maximum amount of people. And that's fine. That's literally what he has said himself.
And I've heard
he has said
and
that.
Maybe people would have listened to what I said, but you told everybody that I had a beard and long hair, so now they're never going to listen to me.
They know who you are now.
This is why we have no video here.
And that damn Polaroid shirt he wears every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, that's a fundamental problem with society is that they base things, on looks more than on what is being spoken.
The truth from Brad Pitt and
that's what
any of the celebrities
what I've been trying to say
and all
the entire
that.
time. They want to. No one wants to hear the truth from someone that doesn't look the part.
Some people do.
Yes,
maybe not the majority,
but not even close to the majority.
But there are overlaps in those communities. Is what I'm trying to say. And there are people who don't typically dress that way or don't even really associate with people who would dress that way, but would still listen to what he said and go, "Wow, this is incredible information," and then share that. Right? There's an overlap in those communities, and so it's not. It's what he's doing is incredible all around because
I agree.
And he doesn't need to change a thing.
I'm just trying to say something that is apparent that not a lot of people I've ever heard address that specific statement of it's a lot about appearance. That in sales, in anything you do in life, you want to look as presentable as possible when you're trying to be successful. And the problem is, if you looked a certain part, well, I don't know really how to say this, but
it could help.
Yeah, it will help. It's not.
I agree with you.
It will absolutely.
I agree with you.
Appearance
Now here's the thing.
Tremendously.
Here's the thing. You've learned the knowledge, so you be that guy who looks the part to reach a different mass than what he reaches, because you know the knowledge now. So if that's what you think is correct, is to put the suit and tie on and give the presentation,
go get yourself a damn
then
suit,
start
boy.
doing it. Start talking to people in the right attire to get their attention, because that is what's needed. You're correct. That is what is needed.
And I fall under that same bias as genuinely. I was at a party the other night. Something went missing at a party.
You stole something.
Yeah. No, it went home with me. No, the first thing that everyone in the house thought, and everyone that texted me was, it was the fucking skater crew that came in with with the beanies on and the graphic tees and the dyed hair and the fucking lip rings and all this stuff. That's just how society works. People don't take that look serious like they do the guy that was wearing the goddamn khakis and the Cole Haans and the...
Listen,
what's so fucked up is in my mind, it's probably one of the guys with the khakis.
100%. It probably was.
And that was the point I was going to make. It depends on what circle you're in, because like it's the same thing. Like if like the people I used to hang out with in that band, like if we were all in a room and somebody come to the door in a suit and tie, like your thing before, we'd like, goof, we'd have been yelling at him, goof, get out of here. Yeah. And it would have been the same thing if the cops got called in that party. Nobody would accuse the skater. They would be, oh, it was the guy in the corner that.
And that's another thing that there's so many different social circles that you're kind of against each other in a sense. Like the world's, to me, than this nation at least, is more divided than it's ever been, and it's by design, 100%. But it's plays into that exact thing we're talking about, and it always has been. Even you look at high school stereotypes and all that stuff. There's the cliques, there's the skaters, there's the preppies, there's this,
the burnouts, and the
you're a
freaks and the
fucking
geeks.
joke if you skate. When you're in the preppies, you're a fucking joke if you're wearing preppy shit. If you're in the skater crew, like, it's always been that. There's always the divide, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that there's
to cross the divides. Yes, you're right. You're going to have certain, different styles of people that learn the truth. Because there are bridges between the divides too. So you're going to have people that will listen to you, who's a skater guy, right? And then maybe he goes and takes that knowledge and he presents it to more skater type people.
I don't think I'm a super unique individual when it comes to. I don't skateboard. I've never really claimed to be a skateboarder.
Yeah, I'm just
right. But we grew up skateboarding, and I love skateboarding videos. I've been a part of that community as far as a fan of it most of my life. But I'm also a fan of a lot of different other types of things that those two people hate each other. Those two groups fucking hate each other,
of course.
Right?
I'm in two different groups.
But like I like a lot of different things, and there's a lot of people like that. And so you'll find that's where I say there's overlap. I won't say it's the majority, but I will say there are a lot of people like that. And when you have that overlap, that's where you have someone who will listen to someone who you would think maybe wouldn't, and then they can take it back to their group, where people respect them because of the way they are in the group that they fit into.
I agree with that. But I don't believe there's a lot of different people that are very unique in their ways. I just don't.
I don't know, man.
I haven't met one. And I know thousands of people. Meet them all the time.
You meet shitty people, man.
They're all. It's because guess what? I'm in the real fucking world and meet a lot of shitty. Yes, most people you meet are shitty. They just are basic as fuck, and you're like, I could never be friends with this person ever.
So Daniel will be friends with anybody.
Daniel's a fucking hater. He hates everyone.
But see, there's also a good saying.
Jason would disagree.
Meet my friends, and he's like, I don't want to meet them. I don't want to meet anybody. I hate people.
That's funny.
I don't want to meet no one.
Because I hate people way more than he does. I talk to him all the time. I'm like, man, you're too nice to people. You got too many people you hang around.
And, I'm not gonna say I'm a nice person, but
no, you're not a nice person.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely
an asshole.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't say that.
I would. 100%. I do all the time.
I'm a jokester, and people can't take jokes.
No, yeah, I agree with that. But like, sometimes you're an asshole.
Yes, it's just when we play
me and Austin love talking shit about you.
Play video games. But I had this conversation last night with the people I was playing video games with. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna like me when we play video games together because you suck and I'm good.
Me and Austin will play, and it's 3-man squads. So me and Austin are playing. We always get a random, and the random teammate we have is always the worst person on the planet. Like the kind of person that if you saw them, you just punch them in the face. Like they immediately will be taking us to where we're going to go. They immediately ping out some dumb place, drop solo, and separate from the whole team and go there by themselves and get downed immediately. And we always go, that's Ethan. That is Ethan right there. He is that person.
Stay in their pocket and you win the game.
No, because they're horrible. They die immediately every time. You can't drop by yourself thinking you're the best player in the game.
And you drop on the outskirts of the map. Either way. You're pussies. What the fuck was I saying? I was on to something.
You're an asshole.
Yes. No. I don't know. What does Jason have to say?
I got nothing, man. I've been enjoying this lively debate.
I want to hear this shit.
No. Let me explain to you. Nobody wants to hear the band I was in.
No,
it was clear by how many views we had.
Music. I'm just saying, like, you were in the stereotype that a lot of people I know would say, "Fuck this guy. I'm not going to listen to him regardless."
Yeah, but we weren't. But like where we went, I mean.
But now he wears a suit to work.
Yeah, and he has a fucking sweet ass house.
So it's like
the address.
He's in both groups. He's in both groups.
Yeah.
No, and I agree. But that's the thing that's very special about the people I've grown up with. We might be in various groups and have friends that are that way because that's how we were just raised, I guess. But that's not the majority, dude. That's not even I'm unique in the sense of.
But my point is that I don't think any of us were always that way.
I guess I just always was because I was grown up into you guys' change.
Yes, like your main influence was us already going through those phases and showing you all the new shit and going.
I feel like a lot of that is probably how y'all were raised, though. Like neither one of your parents strike me as just listen to the authority and do whatever they say. They seem to be
bullshit. I think it was that way for a while, though.
Well, no, I mean, I know, like, the whole Christian aspect of it, but even, like, within that, I don't feel like your parents, like, when everybody else was following, well, not everybody, I mean, that's, a lot of the church was following a certain leadership. I think your parents have always struck me like they somewhat think for themselves, you know, that's not, they're not, and so I think they probably brought y'all up similarly.
Yeah, I mean, just being homeschooled lets you be more of a critical thinker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I disagree. And we can talk about homeschooling and how terrible it is. And if you fucking put your child through homeschool, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
The thing is that you have to.
Why is that?
Is your children?
You're wrong about the critical thinking part. The part you're right about is the social aspect.
No,
sure, but
the more social you are, the more critical thinker you are.
I completely disagree. What about all the people you're talking about? You're not talking about any homeschool people.
Yeah,
people
the guys who go to frats and have 100 friends. They're not critical thinkers. They're drinkers.
Think about this. What in the fuck do you have to critically think about when you're indoctrinated into a certain belief your entire life without ever experiencing another?
What do you think? You think homeschool is being indoctrinated with a certain belief?
Christianity.
100%.
Hold on, real quick.
100%.
Real quick.
Hold on. I'm gonna go.
You go ahead, but Christianity and homeschooling are two completely different things.
Totally agree.
Okay, so the indoctrination,
you were indoctrinated because you're homeschooled because you had no other viewpoint pushed towards you by other children who were going through different aspects of life.
Followers.
I did both.
The viewpoint of children who are still learning.
No, because when you're a child,
terrible teachers from public schools who teach
who indoctrinate children with bullshit.
What I'm saying is not in the sense of the natural law and the government and all this stuff. When you're homeschooled, you are subject to what only your parents believe in. That's indoctrination.
No, because there are laws against homeschooling, and you have to teach the curriculums that are put into place.
You can teach the fucking curriculum all you want, but guess what? You're never leaving the house, and you're never learning about other stuff that other children have learned at their house.
We left the house. We went on field trips with groups of kids.
With 6 children who were also homeschooled around your area.
No, but pretty much every family had at least 6 children, and there was like 4 or 5 families we hung out with.
I'm saying you hung out with 4 or 5 families.
30 kids.
There's like 30 kids there, bro. That's a classroom.
With 20 people that are all my fucking family and best friends. What you're indoctrinated.
But you were saying
I'm not trying to offend either of you.
No, but you were saying that you try to talk to these kids all the time and they don't want to listen to the things you say. They're not critical thinkers.
Yeah, dude.
So how does that back up your point?
My point is you can't be a critical
thinker.
You're
a critical thinker because you hung out with 2 homeschoolers your whole life.
Exactly.
You're right.
That was what you had said earlier.
Changed my mind. I agree. You're right. Homeschool is the move. Everyone.
I think that homeschooling can be horrible if the parents don't put effort into it.
It is horrible. You guys could be the most social people I've ever met, and I got my social aspect from you guys that you don't even have.
I disagree.
No, bullshit.
I use them as an example for how people that homeschool are social. St. Clair's social. Like they're
St. Clair was homeschool this whole time.
Yep. Yeah.
No wonder he's a fucking lunatic.
Those 2 things are mutually exclusive, sir.
Listen, but you hate people. You hate people.
No, dude. You have to realize that I deal with hundreds of people a day.
Yeah, but you're
hundreds of people.
You're dealing with the fucking worst.
Exactly, and I interact with them on a regular basis.
20,000 friends up there.
I've got
you go into the store on any day.
Those aren't your friends,
and there's 20 kids hanging out in there.
And he hates it.
No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
You told me how much you hate it.
He's up there playing chess and shit with them, like checkers,
arm wrestling.
I enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with other human beings because
you never had the chance when you were home.
You are very biased against this.
Very much.
I'm not biased. I know the difference. Why am I so much more social?
Have you been homeschooled?
I'm so goddamn glad I wasn't. Because my social aspect is 50-fold what you guys could ever be, and you're more social, that you have more to talk about than I do. But and when it comes to you guys speaking about spreading word and shit like that, if you had some kind of social interaction your entire life and you knew how to be social, you would thrive in it way more than you can now.
But I would have never learned how to be a critical thinker if I had been in school, because I would have been indoctrinated with absolute lies.
Do you think that follow the followers? Do you think that anybody that knows them and doesn't know they're homeschooled thinks they're homeschooled? Because I don't think they do.
When I tell people that I'm homeschooled, they're like, "Are you serious? Really?"
Everyone that would ask us that, it would blow their mind.
It blows their mind every time. I go, "Yeah, kindergarten through 12th grade, the entire way."
And when I say I
never step foot in a school.
When I say I hate people, and I don't know if this is what Daniel means, I think I'm a social person. I just hate most people because of the way that they are, and I don't think any amount of socialization is going to make me like some idiot that I have nothing in common with, no common ground, that isn't thinking about anything. They're just going through their life.
I will take back my claim, because I do think you guys are more critical thinkers than anyone I've met. That
do you think that we would be that way if we went to public school? We wouldn't, because we would have been indoctrinated by what everyone. We would be your friends.
That I'm a critical thinker.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and your brother. And see, your brother is like one of those special cases that went through public school but was always better than everyone there.
And he's just a lot smarter than all those
exactly.
fuckers.
Absolutely.
And he has some kind of natural ability to just absorb information and accept it and realize
I guess because my mom and dad are both idiots.
And he gained that extreme critical thinking through, I think, teaching himself through school. He didn't listen to his teachers. He taught himself through school.
And I grew up,
and that's how he gained that.
It's because he read.
He just did it first.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
because you read, you're good.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he did. He just read a lot of shit that made him open his fucking views. But I do think
the typical theme of public
homeschool
school is to
child.
crush critical thinking.
So why shouldn't you homeschool
get rid
your
of
child?
If you're looking at a successful standpoint, if you want to be successful, I literally could not name, and neither could you, any homeschooled child who is a multi-billionaire right now.
Multi-billionaire?
Yes.
There's only how many
Four
of those? 300?
Both morons. There's a lot.
That's like
multi-billionaires?
Multi-billionaires.
Yes.
How many multi-billionaires?
Jamie, damn it, look that up. I'm about to look it up.
My point is
that most homeschoolers score higher on ACT and SAT scores than public schoolers. They get into college at a better rate.
Your parents are giving you the answers to the ACT.
There's only 607 billionaires in the United States.
Billionaires?
That's billionaires.
I'm talking the whole world.
Okay, but
most of them live in the United States.
All right.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Was
the majority of billionaires live in the U.S., I'm pretty sure.
I don't even know if that's true, but
I would say it is.
Let's see. I can look it up.
No, it probably is. But what I'm saying is, being social is the most important thing in life.
Is it?
I think it is.
I think truth is.
Well, of course, we can go on that whole tangent.
You need to be social enough to spread truth.
If you're thinking monetarily, I think
that's immoral. To think that success is only in monetary gain.
In our
current society, that's what they say is the
monetarily speaking, that is the goal.
What does money mean? What did he say money meant?
Money's fucking freedom.
One eye. Money means one eye.
Money's freedom.
Money.
Right
the
now.
word money
in either Greek or Latin
translates to one eye.
What I'm saying is money now is freedom.
It means knowledge.
And
to be rich in money means to have knowledge and truth.
How can you get the most knowledge? Not be indoctrinated by public school systems that are literally put together by governments.
I agree. Now they're teaching 6-year-olds about LGBTQ and how to accept transgender 6-year-olds.
You think that's right?
Fuck no.
Then why would you put your kids there?
I probably wouldn't now.
After this conversation.
No. I talked to a woman I was literally changing my tires, and me and her had a fucking 3-hour conversation. She gave me 6 different people to look up on YouTube. She's like, I listen to them all the time. She's like, I just took my kids out of public school because they were getting taught how to accept transgenders, and they're 6 years old. I'm like, that's lunacy.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, right now, money is the only way to freedom.
No, it's not.
Money is slavery, sir.
Sweetheart. If I had $100 million in my pocket, you would not be sitting in front of that mic. We would be on a Bahama
You would
cruise.
still be a slave because you would be giving a portion of that money to the government against your will.
Oh my God, I would give
that
$30 million
makes
to
you
the
a
government
slave.
right now if I had 70 more million. I wouldn't give a shit.
I'm not saying it's not easier to be a slave when you have a lot
Yeah,
of money.
but
you're
you
still
wouldn't
a slave.
feel that way if you worked your butt off for that $100 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
you would not
a lot
feel
of the
that
very
way.
rich
I still
people
would
hate
because-
paying taxes and they bitch about
You
it
know,
all the time.
they don't bitch about it. They avoid them by... Why are most millionaires millionaires? Because they know how to avoid taxes. How many more?
There's 2,600 in the world.
Oh, so there's more out of the United States, like I said, than in the United States.
2,600 in the world. There are 7 billion people in the world. Ethan?
What I'm saying is, if you were more socially...
If there's one homeschooler that's a multi-billionaire,
There's not
with
one.
the fucking
There's not
odds
one.
of how many homeschoolers there
Look
are
up how
versus how
many
many
there
people
are.
go to
There's
public
not one.
school, it's
Not
a
one
better
what?
fucking system.
homeschool
Also,
billionaire,
with
period.
It says...
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna read. I'm trying to find that, but the stupid thing that Google does
But it
first
says
is like
0 and you're not happy about it?
no, not that at all. It says the homeschoolers often get a bad rap. 30 most famous. The
gets
first
you the
thing
30
is
most
showing
famous people
showing
and they
stupid
have
famous
100
people
grand.
that doesn't matter. But like, this thing says research suggests homeschooled children tend to do better on standardized tests, stick around longer in college, and do better once they're enrolled. A 2009 study showed that the proportion of homeschoolers who graduated from college was about 67%, while among public school students it was 59%.
Burn.
There's no burn. You're cheating on your ACT. I'm sorry.
Dude, no, it's about being able to
Could you get
to
up
progress
let
in
me
the
ask you
areas
this.
that you are good
Could
at.
could the three of you get up in front of 1,000 people and give a seminar?
I couldn't know.
No.
Here's the thing.
Anxiety, you wouldn't be able
No,
to.
no, that has nothing to do with
He
it.
answered. I want you to answer.
If I had my information correct, of course I could stand up. It doesn't matter who I'm standing in front of. If I know what I know that I'm
Stood up
talking
more-
about,
Have you ever stood up
I'll do
in
it.
front of more than 20 people?
no.
Never in your life.
Yeah, yes.
Have I? Yes, I have. You're right. I've done piano recitals for hundreds of people. I've even done
4-H stuff and
all
Have
sorts
you
of
ever
stuff, man.
spoke out of your mind?
playing piano and speaking is the same thing.
Bull fucking shit.
It's actually much harder to sit and play piano than it is to
if I
just
could
talk.
play Call of Duty in front of a million people, I wouldn't give a shit. But if I had to stand up and speak truth in front of a million people, I would be shivering in my boots.
It doesn't matter though if I'm
would
speaking
be
truth
easier
and
if
I
I
know
had
what I'm speaking.
Like
Like
social interaction.
if I'm not prepared, that's one thing. If I'm not prepared and I walk up
You're not
there,
prepared if
then
you're a
I'm
fucking
going to be
homeschooler.
upset and I'm
That's
going to be
ludicrous.
scared. But if I am prepared, then I'm going to go up there and say what I have to say. I'm not afraid of people. There's been a time in my life where I was, but
Dude,
it's not anymore.
hold on a second. Like I went to public school. I was homeschooled till I was in 7th grade, and then 7th to graduation, I was in public school.
Good.
Like so, but while I was in public school, I never had to give one presentation to anyone. I never had to get in front.
shitty school.
Yes, as all of them are.
Yes, they are. I'm just completely joking. I think I maybe have given one.
Yeah, like I didn't read anything.
But did you learn more in public school than you did? And I'm talking not actual knowledge, but social interaction. Did you learn more in public school than you did than in homeschool?
You're just talking about the
There's
social
only one
stuff?
answer. It's yes.
You're just talking about the social stuff?
Yes.
Of course, and when you're talking about the schooling
So
part of it.
what
but
do you do? You're a banker?
I'm a mortgage officer, yeah.
Do you talk to a lot of people usually?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think your homeschooledness or your public school education?
Because it's not the same thing, though. I don't think that, like, I think I just said, oh, I can make a lot of money at this. I'm going to do whatever I need to be successful at it.
And I'm sure
But-
you got better at it as you went along.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
But I don't
Anything.
think it's one or the other, because even if you can be social, I mean, some of the most social kids in my class are not doing shit. Like, they're not doing anything.
Yeah, maybe that's true. But at the same time, having a social background is a lot more important in success.
I think it comes down to having a social background is more important depending on your priorities.
Yeah.
So it's a person-to-person thing, because if your priority is you want to be social and be successful in that aspect of society,
You'll kill it.
then you maybe you want to go to public school and not worry about education or truth and just become a
you don't have to.
zombie that goes through life
problem.
going, hey, everybody love me because I'm social.
We have all agreed that public school is a joke. If there's one thing you can learn from it is to be a social person. And and shaking hands in today's society is the most important thing out of everything you've ever learned in public school. Shaking someone's hand is the most important fucking thing you can do.
Okay,
did I learn to shake someone's hand?
I learned that from my father.
And I'm not talking about fucking
it wasn't
the action of shaking a hand. Being able to entertain someone and leave an impression on them is the most important thing you can do in a business world today.
But that comes down to individual personalities, and that doesn't always.
That's my point.
But I have that ability to leave an impression on people, I think.
I do too.
When I come into contact with them. But I also have social anxiety, and I don't like to be around a lot of people.
That's my point.
But
you wouldn't have that social anxiety
if you still have the ability to leave an impression on people. Where did I learn that from? Because I was homeschooled my whole life.
Well, but you're not going to leave that impression on anyone because you fear humans. You just said it.
I do.
He's leaving that impression on 13 people right now.
I just don't agree. I don't even know how the fuck we got on this conversation, but you're all wrong about it.
What is your boy, the guy that is in Chicago now, what's his name? That was your friend?
Wiseman?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wasn't he homeschooled?
Yes.
Isn't that dude...
Went to Yale, didn't he?
Freaking...
Cornell.
He seems freaking social as it gets.
Homeschooled his whole life.
He's an outlier, I'm sorry.
He went.
Did he go to school for a little bit?
He went to high school for like 2 years,
probably, and he had.
But it was a private school.
He was the exact same person before as he was when he came out of high school. Because I knew him before and I knew him after, and he was the same exact person. He was a very social person all through his homeschooled years.
And he's an outlier because you guys aren't social people. I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying you guys have left more of an impact on my life than you could.
It's not that we're not social. It's we're more not social by choice.
You're antisocial.
It's more by choice.
That's my point.
Of picking and choosing who I want to be social with, because I have a brain to
like
go.
He says,
I don't
most
want to be
people
around
suck.
certain people.
I agree with you 100%. It's like my dad always, why don't you bring a girl home? I'm like, they all fucking suck. They wear short skirts and want to get fucked.
The ones that suck are the ones I want to bring home.
That's the circle you're in, though, and that's what I'm saying. Like, why is it virtuous to be in that circle and to be social with these people that you just said suck?
Yeah, how does that benefit you?
Honestly, though, getting outside of, stop drinking, getting on a diet, like starting to actually do something for myself, it's been phenomenally better. And just quit surrounding myself with whores and shitty.
So there you go. Sociability is not the most important thing in life.
Yes,
destructive.
Because if I sit down with a guy who wants to hire me, for instance, I had an interview on last Wednesday. Said you could be one of the best sales reps that I've ever hired because I'm social. Because he's like, you're the easiest person I've ever talked to.
I work in sales.
That's
Ethan.
important.
Do you realize that?
You don't.
I do.
You sell stuff.
Absolutely. Every day.
Sells things.
He could sell. I mean, I work in sales. He could sell.
Yes, I talk to people all the time.
And
people like me.
Great.
People like me. They do. And I was homeschooled.
This is such a funny conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can learn social skills outside of school. That's another thing. It doesn't have to be something. Here's the thing.
Why not?
Yeah, why can't you?
You can't.
I have.
You haven't.
I absolutely have.
I'm just fucking with you. That's funny.
Absolutely,
you haven't though. You haven't.
Give it to him.
You haven't.
I'll give you. I am the most antisocial person.
You are. You have told me.
Here's the
personally,
thing. Because I don't want to associate with people who are partying.
Over my house. I don't want to meet anyone.
I have the right to associate with the people that I want to associate with. I don't have to be social with everyone that exists.
You saying I don't want to get to know someone is the exact problem with homeschool.
No, absolutely not. I don't.
So if you don't
have to know everyone.
School, you just have to know every person on the world.
To.
That's what you just said. If you go to public school, you have to accept every relationship ever and be friends with every person.
Caleb,
now you're getting it.
He can't think critically. He went to public school.
Oh, that's right.
You're right.
That's
my problem. Now I'm just fucking toying with all of you, and it's great. It's a good conversation though, because don't homeschool your child, or I'm gonna be really upset about it.
I've heard you say that to me before.
You can be as upset as you want, but that is exactly what will happen.
God damn it.
Because here's the thing. I'd rather indoctrinate them with what I fucking believe
at least now you agree.
Than have
you're indoctrinated when you're a homeschooler.
No, I disagree. Like, you can give your kid...
It
depends on how you do it. A different one than I have right now.
But you grew up on your family's...
Of course, but so did. No,
it's not. It's not, because I spent 8 hours a day learning several different.
What did you learn different? You just learned one alternative to that.
No,
then maybe you
accepted.
I learned
multiple, because here's the thing.
Which ones did you learn?
I have probably, honestly, close friends, 15 of them that I hang out with almost all the time, that I love to death, that I consider family as much as them.
Okay.
And they all believe different shit. They were all grown up on different shit. And I learned all of the stuff that they went through because I talked to them every day and I grew up with them. And they all grew up on different... And that's why some of us don't get along sometimes, because I want them to see my way, even though it might not be the way that they grew up on, and it also might not be the right way to see. But at least I got to see those different...
Yeah. Dude, we're all faced with the world.
Yeah,
you were faced with the world when you were out of homeschool. I was faced with the world from the get-go.
When he had a more developed brain and he could actually
be able to
assess
deal with
things and critically think and analyze
not be
people
influenced
and realize who he wants to associate
by
with.
the world, but be able to see the differences between people.
Listen, and man, I went to school. Everybody there thinks the same way. Now, you may be whatever, but it's all superficial, like stuff you were talking about. There's skaters, there's preps, there's whatever, but they're all thinking the exact same thing.
They're all being taught to follow the followers.
The guys are thinking, I want to have sex with something, the best looking thing that I can. The girls are thinking, I want to be loved and want to be popular. The guys want to be popular. They're just being popular in different stuff. None of them are actually thinking. They don't have viewpoints. Like the people that I hung out with, the prep Todd didn't have a different viewpoint in life than the freaking skater that had a Slipknot shirt on. They just had different styles of that crap.
But the thing is, they were separated through those.
What about all the antisocial kids in schools who don't have friends, who get bullied and picked on, and never learn any kind of social...
They'll never go anywhere in life, and
But they went to public school.
they're
I thought public school taught you how to be
losers,
social.
I'm sorry.
But it goes to show that doesn't. And
it doesn't work always.
Here's the thing:
no,
I know people who would have been those kids in public school who were homeschooled who actually have decent lives now.
Yeah,
and they're doing real things. And they have real talents, and they actually know how to communicate with people instead of it being this weird, awkward person who never really learned anything because they were bullied in public school their whole life.
Every person that I've met that was homeschooled in college, that's now in college, struggled tremendously getting out of their house and coming to college. 1. 2, they are mostly super Christian, anti everything college, any kind of fun, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's the stereotype, not just the stereotype, but that's usually the truth from someone that's been homeschooled their entire life.
Well, you also live in the Bible Belt, so that's going to be a bit influenced by the South.
Of course. But what I'm saying is they were indoctrinated their entire life to believe exactly what their parents taught them. They homeschooled them for that exact reason, and now that's all they believe. And my roommate that just moved into my room last night, that I lived with for an entire year in the fraternity house, he wasn't homeschooled, but he was private schooled, and it's almost the fucking same thing because they were...
Private schools are way better than public schools. I'll give him that.
Absolutely.
I disagree, and I think he would disagree too, and he went for his entire life.
Depends on which private school you go to.
Oh, of course, but most of the time you're in a private school, you're taught religion is your only... that's the only thing you should ever do. That's the only thing you should ever believe in.
If you go to like ECU or whatever, ECS or whatever it is...
Yeah, well, he went to FAGS, which is...
is that the name of it?
No, but we call it that.
Jesus.
But either way, he was, he was a Christian. So he wore fucking cargo pants the first time he ever came into the fraternity, and everybody gave him shit.
So he's 100% a Christian.
Huge gay. If you wear cargos, you're 100% a Christian. Yes.
No doubt about it.
No, I mean, him and his buddy, fucking Eagle Scout boots and cargos, but they learned the same shit. They were indoctrinated in the same shit. They never saw any other points of view their entire life.
But public school is the same.
It's like, just a different indoctrination.
Again, it's not like it wasn't like, oh, there's a group of socialists over here, and there's a group of capitalists over here, and there's the Muslims, and there's the Hindus. You're not learning that crap. You're not. It's right. Everybody thinks the same thing. There weren't anything but Christians.
You're wrong. I'm gonna go pee real quick. Talk shit about me while I'm gone.
We will.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna wait till you get back. Talk shit to your face. I'll say it to his face.
Good.
My favorite thing Mark Passio says. Like, I love that guy
all the time.
Yep.
Bring him to me. Bring him to me right now. I will say this to their face.
Yeah.
He will say it to their face.
I went to public school, and I don't think that there was any diversity of thought there at all.
No, of course not.
Because kids don't have that. They're looking at
There's diversity of what people wear. There's diversity of what
diversity
people...
of culture.
Some kids went through harder stuff than other kids.
Sure.
But that's the same. Like, you're going to get that different place. There are not multiple viewpoints there.
No.
There just aren't.
And
it's everyone being taught to follow authority. Absolutely.
And here's the thing. You could still have that in homeschooling. It depends on who your parents are.
Yeah, it's new, and that's when he gets back. Like it's not two things that he's talking about. They're not the same thing.
No.
Like, indoctrinating your kid is not the same as homeschooling them. Mm-hmm. Like, it just depends on how you do it.
Right.
I mean, and also, like, indoctrinating can be a dirty word, but I think it could also be translated to what Passio was talking about with input and output, and in those early stages of life. The things you're being fed in are going to kind of form you, and then that's going to be it's going to affect the output, and that every child has to go through that. They have to be taught life and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, Jordan Peterson says the same thing.
The things that don't have your kids be wrong, but it's
I want to teach my kids to be critical thinkers.
Absolutely.
Not to just think this way because I said it.
Right. And that's something that I think that my parents did a decent job of. As much as they pushed Christianity on my brother and I, they allowed us to question them.
Yeah.
If they said, we're doing this, they allowed me and my brother to go, well, why are we doing that? And I think that was important. That's something that has stuck with me the rest of my life. If authority tells me to do something, I'm going to ask why. Why? Because my parents allowed me to do that when they said, you got to go to bed at 7 o'clock. Well, why do I have to go to bed at 7 o'clock? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, because these are the benefits of doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's okay to ask those questions. It's when you're not allowed to ask the question is when you're being indoctrinated.
I think that's precisely what a public school will do.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to ask, why is it wrong for me to say this word?
Yeah. It just is. Austin used to get in trouble in school all the time for correcting teachers. Shit. And that's not allowed. Hell no, you're not going to correct me even though I'm wrong. Yeah. and what I'm teaching is wrong, and you've pointed it out. No, now you're in trouble. Like, how is that teaching people to think critically and to think for themselves and to actually look into stuff?
That was exactly why I got in trouble all throughout high school, middle school, everything. Is because I questioned everything. And it was also like when I was playing high school baseball, it was like our coach used to call us the why generation because we'd ask why about everything. Instead of just running through the wall, we would ask, well, why do I got to run through the wall?
Yeah, because I don't fucking follow orders for no goddamn reason.
I mean, but you don't see that many people in public school that are that way. There's like 6 or 7 of those people, and they're all on the radar of the fucking principals and everything else. They're the class clowns. They're people that actually ask questions.
Because public schools are effective at keeping critical thinking down.
That's I agree. But I'm not saying that that's not true. What I'm saying is public school's cancer. I mean, homeschool's cancer. And don't do it.
Public school is just like, AIDS. So it's not quite as bad, right?
Yes, you're right.
It's manageable. Yes. Cancer's a bit more deadly.
You can manage it.
So you might as well just stick with AIDS.
Stage 4 cancer. And public schools, can't. It's like AIDS. You can take pills.
Let me ask this question then. So, like, do you know where the modern school system came from?
Listen, I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I'm asking them.
He's about to get you in a gotcha
But I
moment.
do agree 100%. It's all indoctrination. It's all bullshit. Everything that's taught in public school is completely...
So why would you want to send your kids there?
I wouldn't, but I would want to for the aspect of...
You don't think you could socialize them in a different way?
No,
How many social things do you do outside of school?
Everything.
So
It's completely social. When it comes to extroverted, like to being an extrovert, I'm probably 100% extrovert.
What makes you believe
Outside
that
of
that's a
school.
virtue versus the other thing?
Because
of monetary gain?
yes, that's what I'm...
But that's not necessarily the most important thing to Caleb and I.
Well, and I'm not saying it is. What
And
I'm saying
it
is
may not be the most...
To freedom, right now, monetary gain is the only way to freedom.
absolutely
No, it's not.
incorrect.
That's
If
incorrect.
you want to say freedom in the sense of, yes, you can live your life happily by living living over there like you can and not being bothered, yes, that's fine. What I'm saying is, I could travel anywhere in the world.
Nope.
With monetary gain, I can travel anywhere in the world when I want to.
Nope.
I can go have... Why are you saying no?
Because you can't do it according to the way you want to. There will be checkpoints and guidelines and fees and things that you're going to have to go through.
And guess what?
That the government's put into place,
I
and
don't give a fuck about the monetary guidelines.
But
that I have
that's
to fit.
wrong. That's immoral.
I'm not saying
That's
it's immoral. What I'm
accepted
saying
slavery.
is that's the freedom that
It's
I
not
can
freedom.
have
It's
with
accepted
money.
slavery. It's Stockholm syndrome. It's saying my masters are good to me because I have money and I can kind of make things okay. So I'll just deal with it.
Agreed. And that goes
that's
back
completely
to
insane.
That goes back to me
and immoral.
agreeing with Daniel that there's not a chance in the fucking world in our lifetime that we will have a change in heart as a population.
He doesn't believe that.
But
good. I hope I can argue with the three of you.
Listen.
Because there will not be a change in the heart in our lifetimes where everyone will agree on that aspect.
Maybe not.
No, not.
You can't say that. You don't know that.
I do know that because I know a lot more people than you do, and they all suck.
You know all the people.
I know all of them.
but it starts with you. It starts with you changing your actions and following the guidelines of truth and spreading the knowledge that you do know.
What gets you farther?
Farther in what?
Just answer it. What gets you farther in life right now?
But
to accept truth or to accept the slavery that you
define
that
what
you define.
want in life.
If I want complete free, like I said, if I want to go wherever the fuck I want, I don't care about monetary value because say I'm a multimillionaire. I don't care if I have to spend $10,000 to get a passport everywhere I go. And I get to go wherever I want, bring my family there. I get to put them on planes and go wherever I want in the world. I get to do what I get to drive the most expensive cars. I get to do all this stuff. That is my objective right now in this world that we live in because then I'm free of... I might not be free of the government. I might still pay them plenty of taxes, but
you're perpetuating slavery and it makes you an immoral person.
Money.
It's called slave think.
That's fine. Am I going to be more free than the people that are sitting on their front porch thinking about slave think?
More free to do what?
Like whatever the fuck I want.
No, I don't think you're more free than a guy that lives in a cabin out in the middle of nowhere. Like I don't know what
would... on his own food instead of paying $140 for a nice ass steak.
Is that bad? Maybe he likes hunting his own food.
Maybe I like paying $140 for my own
Maybe
steak.
you do.
There's nothing wrong with you paying money for a
in
steak,
the fucking
right?
Bank.
But when the government is taking part of your money before you get to buy that steak,
listen to me. I'm not
that's
disagreeing
you
with
being
at
a
all.
slave
What I'm saying
to your
is,
masters, and you're saying that you're okay with that.
Because
as
they
long
allow
as you
you
have
enough.
enough money to still be able to do what you want to do.
Would I rather...
That's horrible thinking.
Okay, so would I rather be someone who wants to cause a ruckus and try to change what's going on now, or be someone who can, you said slave think, and have enough money to get around all those objectives without having a care?
But you
I'm
won't.
gonna do the
You
second
really
one
won't. You might for a
100%
little
of the
bit,
time.
but it'll come around to bite you in the ass. The government always fucks you in the end.
Not most. The government mostly fucks with the people without the money. Most of the people that are millionaires get to do whatever the fuck they want, and they run all over
For a while.
the people that don't have money.
It's not true at all. They take more of their money than they take of anyone else's.
Yes, in taxes, if you want to
Yeah.
say that, but
Yeah.
what?
They take more of Jason's money than they take of mine because he makes more money than I do.
Yeah,
That's fucked up. Why would they do that?
agreed. But would I rather
You're okay with that?
Play that? No, but would I rather play that game than try to be the Mark Passio that fucking gives lectures every day for 6 hours at a time?
The other thing that
guy that just says, fuck all of trying to change things, I'm already on top.
I'm not saying that you can change it overnight. What I'm saying is that you can spread the knowledge of truth to other people, and you can do as much as you can to avoid giving anything to your masters, right? You can do that. You can try to weed through it. Both of those things can exist at the same time. Like you can spread truth and knowledge and also avoid as much as you possibly can giving anything to your fucking slave masters.
If we call them slave masters.
That's what they are. That's what the government is.
They say what we can and can't do with our bodies. That's a master of a slave.
On some level, though, let's say you achieve all of that and are doing that. Do you think that's going to satisfy you?
Being free, yes.
That's not true
freedom.
Have you ever looked at rich people and their happiness?
Yes, absolutely.
Because most of the time they're very depressed.
No. You're looking at a 1 of 1%. The people that are at the very top that are working their ass off 24/7, controlling multi-billion-dollar corporations.
You can get lots of money without working your ass off. That's your plan?
No, you can absolutely get lots of money without working your ass off, but that's not what I'm saying that I want to do. But I'm just
saying, like, I feel like the majority of people
you are referring to the 1 of 1%.
People equate money to happiness, and I think that's completely ignorant.
Money absolutely can bring happiness. I'm not saying money is happiness. It absolutely can bring happiness. I want a fucking bass boat. I guarantee if I buy one, I'll be more happy because I can go fish on a fucking pond with my nice ass bass boat.
You'll get it.
Catch big fish.
Yeah, that'll be great until it's not anymore. Right? And then you have to find the next thing. And it's a constant searching for the next fucking thing you can buy. And it's... Every time you acquire what it is you want, it's not as good as what you thought it was going to be. Then you have to find something else to acquire. And it's not happiness. That's not happiness. It's not.
I would rather live with $100 million in my bank account than $100,000. And we can all at this table agree with that. Whether you want to or not, I don't give a fuck if you lie.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to have $100 million.
Because if you had $100 million, guess what? You'd be able to do what the fuck you wanted to. The government might stop you monetarily, but guess what? You have enough money to do any of the stuff.
You know what they won't let me do? They won't let me have the guns that I want.
They absolutely will. Nowhere in Tennessee law does it say you can't have a fucking... And they call them assault weapons, but you can have whatever gun you want.
Okay, but if I cross an imaginary line into another state, then I can't have it.
Or if
why go to that
if
state?
you want your gun to fire...
So I want to be able to do what I want. I don't want to be a slave. I want to be free.
What state are you referring to? Virginia or Florida?
It doesn't matter what state it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
I'll ask you a question.
I can't... Any state that doesn't have the same laws that our state has, if I move to that state or walk over that imaginary fucking line...
because you wouldn't want to if it intruded on your
But
values.
I do want to because I got business there.
Then I'm not a free person.
So if I can't go there
why would you have
because of
business
one
there
thing...
if you didn't believe in... Why would you have business there if you didn't believe in their laws? Why have business
the laws don't make up a place or the people there.
No, it
That's
does.
fucking
it does
insane.
in today's society.
No,
it
doesn't.
No, it absolutely
The
does.
laws of man
are immoral.
Nothing. They're completely...
They either line up with natural law or they contradict it.
Right now, in the world, in what goes on today, it absolutely means something.
But
the point is that it
point,
does mean
and I agree
something,
with your
and
point.
it's immoral.
There's no legitimacy to
If
it.
I want to go to another state because I need to conduct some business there, and I want to bring a firearm with me because I want to protect myself, as my God-given right allows me.
Don't go there if you know you can't.
But I'm not allowed because the state says I can't.
Sorry, don't go to that state.
Immoral. That's fucked up.
But back to the $100 million. Yeah, obviously everybody at the table would rather have $100 million in their bank account than $100,000. But it doesn't just show up there, as you can see from your $30 lottery ticket escapades.
Right.
So,
I thought I was going to win at least $4 million. I'm going to be honest. I thought $4 million was going to be there.
So like,
and I was hoping I would come on the podcast saying I just want $4 million, guys. That's what I was hoping.
Continue what you're saying.
So like, what do you think you're going to have to do to earn that $100 million, and how does that make you free? Because that ain't going to happen. I mean, whatever you're planning on doing, unless you get just super, super, super lucky, you're not going to have an extra $100 million after you've already been taxed a freaking
40,
at least that much.
52%?
No, well, yeah, like because you're going to be
Over
paying
half.
You're going to be paying property tax and all of the other different taxes besides just the sales tax. So like that's going to be like 30 years in the future. And
God, I hope you don't think that way.
what do you mean?
You don't think that's realistic? To
What?
have $100 million in your pocket?
When? What? Like now?
Yeah, why not? You're
What
are you, 32?
We're talking about you.
33. Yeah.
33? Why is that unrealistic?
What are you planning to do to make that?
Why does that matter in what we're talking about?
Because
You gotta have
because
money.
like you're saying
But
money equals freedom.
If there's a lot of people that have $100 million in their bank account sitting there after all of that stuff, why is that even a question?
Because you're saying that it would equal freedom.
Yes,
and I'm
it would.
saying the stuff that you're going to have to do to get that $100 million in there, you're going to be
Not
just.
saying I'm not going to subject myself to 18-hour work days and fucking grinding my ass off.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, why is that not realistic? If other people can do it, why the fuck couldn't
I'm not saying
do
you
it?
couldn't do it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying anybody at this table can't do it.
What you're
I'm
asking
saying-
me is, what am I going to do to do it? That shouldn't matter. What it is that I believe I can, and I know I can. If someone else can, why can't I?
I understand that. I don't mean. I'm saying like the steps that you're going to have to take in this environment to have that in there. You're saying it's going to be freedom, but if that's your goal, you're going to be a slave for years and years and years until you get
Maybe.
it in there.
And then I gain the freedom that I want.
Okay.
But the freedom
That's
that
the
you
goal.
want isn't freedom, and
No.
that's what blows my mind. It's slavery, and that's just crazy to me.
Well, it's crazy to me that say I make $100 million and I give up half of it. I still have $50 more million than you'll have in your pocket, or not even you.
And I guarantee you won't last you 10 years.
And not even you. Anyone around here.
Do you think it's morally right for them to take your $50 million?
Hell no.
Then why are you okay with that?
It's not that I'm okay with it. It's that's what I'm.
He's okay with still having 50 million.
Yeah.
What I'm okay
It's
with.
like,
is
as long
that-
as it kind of felt good he got fucked in the ass, even though it's bleeding a little, he's still okay with it.
No. I totally agree with all of you
That's
that
what
it's
it is.
immoral. Grow the fuck up and realize that there's no getting around it at this point in time. So yes, I would be more okay with it than I would be unokay with it.
But at some point, like, okay, so I really honestly think for me, if I had $4 million, it's the same as me having $50 million.
Yeah.
Because what
else could you get?
I mean, I could get stuff. I could buy stuff.
What do you need though?
But
it's not.
I mean, at that point, it's not worth what you have to do to get it. And I grant it that other people think differently.
Yeah, I do.
Like, but
I just think
4 and 50 is a lot.
that truth and knowledge is much more valuable than money.
And will bring you more happiness than money. Because here's the thing, man. If you have enough money to put a roof over your head and put food on the table, that's happiness. Anything extra than that, it's problems.
selfishness.
Well, this is the question. That's not
you're
selfish,
causing
but
yourself
this is the question
problems.
that I have for all of you that's kind of religious, or maybe not. But why do you think people that have been together for 50 years and have faith in God and that haven't separated or are really in their roots with their beliefs are a tenfold more happy than the people with the 100 million? Why do you think that is? Because you don't believe in the Bible and Christianity and stuff like that. I'm asking you, why do you believe that? Because that's a fact. There is no getting around that. People that have faith in a religion and are together because most people.
Well,
what's
first
the
off, I think.
divorce rate at?
First off, I
48?
think religion gives people a false sense of happiness because they have this hope that they're going to be fine in the afterlife. Because everyone's always
But that
terrified
has
of death and what's going on in the afterlife.
Partnership.
But I think that is also another big part of happiness for everyone. I think having someone that loves you and that you love is one of the true forms of happiness in life. And
But why are
money
they so
doesn't
much
get
more
you that.
successful when they're based around religion than without religion? Why
What do you mean successful?
Why are marriages so much more successful and
Because a lot of the building blocks of religion are stick with your partner.
And there are also a lot of the
so you
building
don't
blocks
but
of-
you don't agree
So I
with
think
that
they build
being
those
a-
relationships off of solid relationships because they realize that this isn't just a fleeting thing.
But
This isn't a hookup.
that's what I'm asking. Why is it such more of a solid relationship if it's all phony?
It's
Well-
not all phony.
No.
I've never
not
once said
not
that
everything in
the
religion
Bible
is phony. There's a lot
There
of
are
truth in
so
most
many,
religions.
So many great things in the Bible,
And those are some of them.
Lots of different religions, but I don't believe in the Bible as a whole. I don't believe in Christianity as an organized religion. I think it's been corrupted completely.
No,
I think there's a lot of great things in the Bible, and a lot of great things that can make you happy if you choose to live your life based off of some of the lessons that are taught in the Bible. I'd never seen any evidence that money equals happiness. Not one shred of it.
No.
And
most religions teach against
that
it.
money equals happiness.
Like
I believe that money equals freedom in
this
today's
is
society.
anecdotal,
100%.
but I've heard multiple different stories of people who were dirt ass poor, won the lottery, and then within 2 months killed themselves.
Why do you think that is?
They killed themselves.
Why do you think that is?
Because money doesn't buy you happiness.
Bullshit. Because they didn't know how to manage the fucking money they just made. That's exactly why.
Yes, but you
The exact reason
also
why is
have
they did not,
rich,
they've
wealthy
never
people
had,
who run companies and end up killing themselves as well because they're miserable and the money never gave them any happiness. So it's not just that case.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay.
Like there's no evidence that money equals happiness or freedom whatsoever.
No.
So if that's what you're going after to gain those two things, I think you're going to fail. You might have some momentary satisfaction, but it's fleeting.
So where is that?
Eventually, it's going to leave you empty.
This is great because we're talking about religion. That square that you're trying to fill, like you're trying to fill up with your monetary purchases. What actually fills that?
Knowledge. Knowledge gives you power. And with money, that's what you're trying to gain is power.
No.
Which gives you freedom.
No. Because power power doesn't...
Yeah. Power gives you freedom.
No. Money gives you freedom. Power gives you fucking control. You know how many fucking multimillionaires there are that don't have anything to do with power? They just go live their lives?
How do they not have power? They do.
Give me one example.
They're not happy. What I'm saying is that
They're
knowledge will give you power and happiness.
There's plenty of multimillionaires that are going and taking their fucking family on vacations and having a blast and doing all this.
How many people do that shit and then end up murdering their family the next week?
Like name one, Caleb.
What's his name? Chris Watts.
Oh, you named one out of
He
what?
said name one. You said name one.
And I gave you an example that happened not 3-4 months ago. No, he was a person who had a family who was happy, who went on vacations and was happy. Then he murdered his wife and his 2 young girls.
I know exactly.
Okay?
And that wasn't months ago. That was almost 3 years ago now. Chris Watts. I know exactly who you're talking about. He fucking...
Well, it was months ago. Because
he buried them in...
Years are made of months. And so 3 years ago was months ago.
Chris Watts, the one with he had a nice... Yeah, fuck him.
But what I'm saying is that people
wasn't a multimillionaire or a millionaire.
Shut up and listen to my point. People fake happiness in their lives all the time. Just because you see someone on vacation with their family flaunting their money and going, hey, we're happy, doesn't mean that their actual personal life is reflecting that. People live double lives all the time.
No, of course.
And so just because you see the Kardashians or name any rich person on Instagram or anywhere going, oh, I'm happy, I'm doing this, that doesn't mean a damn thing about what they think about from a day-to-day basis and how they really feel. But I guarantee you 90% of them are absolutely miserable with their lives.
Money's not what fills your that burn in your heart for something more. What is it?
I think that it's human connection. I think that it's love. I think that it's knowledge and truth and living a wholesome life.
A moral life.
Yes.
What
I think
ties
that's
back
what...
into religion, big dog. The happiest people on earth are people that are fucking religious. Period.
Spiritual, not religious.
Spiritual, yes. That have a belief in something more.
How would we make that claim? Because happiness isn't something that you can measure scientifically. So how do you know that the happiest people are religious people?
Yeah. It's the same thing I was saying that you can ask
what
me if I'm happy and I can say yes, but you have no idea.
I can look at anecdotal evidence of what I've seen and I can say those people are a lot more happy than my mother and father that got divorced or so-and-so instance where these people are staying together for 55 years and they both believe in something together spiritual that is more than life itself, beyond money and everything else. But
do you think that it's
truly happy about it?
Don't you think that there are couples that stay together for forever that aren't religious or spiritual and are very extremely happy with their life and
I think that's a very small percentage, if any.
Where do you get that from?
I just said I think that's a very small percentage, if any.
I feel like
If
those people are being honest about their happiness, I think it comes most from their relationship and not most from their religion.
People usually don't have a good relationship unless it's circled around a certain belief. Period. And most of the beliefs are spiritual. I don't know. What about your marriage?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that, I think it's better than it used to be because of us being on the same page about what we believe. But, I don't think that has to be... Well, of course, people are ridiculous that are like, well, I'm just going to marry somebody that, if I'm somebody that likes Trump and conservative things, I'm going to marry somebody that is a Bernie supporter who likes this stuff. You're not going to... Your whole worldview is completely different. You're never going to be okay with each other.
Isn't Gavin McInnes' wife a Democrat?
He says that, that she's like that. But
I'm sure they're extremely unhappy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Probably.
I don't know how you couldn't be.
Right.
Because I don't know how you agree on anything from what you're going to do with finances, what you're going to do with your kids. It's just completely different worldviews.
I mean, isn't there something in the Bible that says not to be unequally yoked?
Yeah.
And that has to do with stuff like that. You can't... Two people cannot get along if they have completely two different viewpoints.
I wouldn't think so.
There's no way. No. There's just no way.
Because directly referring to Christians and non-Christians, though.
It doesn't matter what you think or what Christians have told you what it means. The fact of the matter is that it definitely has to do with people need to have the same type of mentality to get along. There's no way to
you have to have commonalities.
Absolutely,
but you don't have to agree on everything.
Of course not.
And
no.
There's a good saying that's don't surround yourself with friends who only agree. And I love that because if you do, you'll never fucking learn anything.
Sure.
It's the same thing with your partner. You don't have to agree on everything. You obviously want to have some things.
I don't want a partner
but
who believes everything that I tell them either. I want them to question
different
me.
Opinions and flesh those things out. And maybe you learn something 100%. Or they learn something.
Yeah, but if you're always going towards truth, then that's something that's going to...
If truth is the goal of both people involved, then we can disagree or have debates on things, but the goal for both of us is truth.
And I think a lot of religious people have stayed together too about just because that's what the book says to do. Obviously
they may be unhappy.
We know people that have been married for years that are miserable with each other. They hate each other, but they're just not leaving, and they're not going to let most people know that. The average people.
Isn't it in Catholicism in particular? Isn't it a mortal sin to get divorced?
I don't know. Maybe
I've heard that. I could be completely wrong because I'm not the biggest. I don't know everything about Catholicism, but I've heard that divorce in Catholicism is it's a big no-no, and it's you're going to hell if you do that. You cannot get a divorce.
So yeah, I mean, if that's a threat, then people are going to stay together whether they're happy or not. If that's what they believe,
yes.
So
yeah, we are coming up on 2.5 hours.
We want to go ahead and
he's trying to cut it dirty.
Finish it.
I could talk for another 2 hours. Because I disagree with you wholeheartedly. Most successful marriages are based around spirituality.
That doesn't mean they're happy, though.
That is factual.
80% of statistics are false.
All right, Trump.
Elon Musk actually said that. It was really funny. This guy was he goes, 90% of predictions that have been made in the world haven't come true. And Elon said, including that one? And then he goes, because 80% of statistics are false. And the whole room was quiet. And he goes, it was a joke, guys. Come on.
Yeah, because you're a jokester. You're known for that, aren't you, Elon?
It's just
stand-up comedian over there.
He's actually really funny, but his voice
doesn't come across that way.
It doesn't. You can't catch that he's joking because he sounds so serious.
He's so monotone that no one catches his joke. Yeah. But back to my point. You need to find some God in you, Satanist.
I'll give you.
Your marriage won't be successful unless you do.
You're all about self-preservation.
My wife used to be a Satanist, sort of. Not really. She was one of those.
I'm young and
hitting the fad of something dark because I'm against the organized religion.
Yeah,
kind of rebellious.
It's the truth that spirituality keeps people.
All right.
Period.
All right.
I mean, Jesus Christ is the only way to happiness.
I don't know if that's the truth, but something to believe in with your significant other is gonna make you more successful in a relationship. Period.
I do think you need to be on the same page.
And that page should be natural law.
Should be truth.
Yeah, you go to a nice
They all
Passio
connect. They all
seminar and
connect.
find you a good.
Connect.
That's right.
Good
We'll
girl.
have them here one day. You'll be there.
I was
I know more
watching
about
that
that
video, and my wife was like, "So is this the guy they based Guilfoyle off of from Silicon Valley?" And I was like, "I think so. Like they dress the same. They're both Satanists. Like
Yeah.
I think that would make sense."
Yep.
All right,
All
wrap
right.
it up for us, Daniel.
We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Later.
It's a nice effect there for them. Just screeching that microphone.